Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to what's talk raps. You're listening to what's talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. You know what it is. It's the boys. The DEIs are back in the building.
We starting out wild as hell.
This is Grapsody. I'm Philip Lindsey. Of course, I'm here with my co-host, Righteous Reg. What's going on?
I am also here. It's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, media man in the building. It's Grapsody. It's Saturday. Philip Lindsey, I'm doing pretty well today. It's been an intense week of working every single day because we are on our way to Philadelphia next week. And I'm super excited about it, man. Like, this is my favorite time of the year as a wrestling fan. Even more than just going to watch some great wrestling. It's like, I'm going to see a bunch of friends and hang out, man. It's the best part.
Yeah, pretty excited for Philly. It has been at times a stressful attempt to book things for this trip. But, you know, that's always the not fun stuff about vacationing, the actual like planning and all of the getting stuff together part. But yeah, we're a week away from WrestleMania, which sounds crazy. It's crazy to think about. I was just thinking about the other day. This is still like my second WrestleMania ever going to. And I'm going to see The Rock wrestle at WrestleMania. Like,
it's crazy.
Did not think that would be a thing in the 90s when I couldn't even afford to pay for the pay-per-views, that I would be going to WrestleMania to see The Rock wrestle in person. But here we are.
Yeah, I think this is maybe my 12th or 13th WrestleMania weekend since first WrestleMania 26 was my first one. And I never imagined that we would get to a place like this where I think most than anything is 2-night WrestleMania. I thought that especially after WrestleMania 35, I was like, that was the longest show in history. What are they going to do to combat that? And I just thought that if they would, book it a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, but they're like, nah, we're going to go with the 2-night shows. And for the most part, I think that they have hit pretty well. So it's exciting to get to WrestleMania 40. Also pretty crazy to think about. The Rock's back, Cody's in existence. We almost had CM Punk. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we almost had CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and all these guys on the same card. Like, that sounds insane, but yeah, so far excited for WrestleMania weekend. Got a Stardom show that week. We got GCW. We got NXT. We got a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I'll be going to the NXT show at noon. Actually, that's happening at the same time as our pod, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
I think it's at noon on Easter. Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
we haven't figured out what we're gonna do for our pod next week. Also, have we?
No. I would assume we're doing it Saturday, but
yeah, we'll see.
Counter programming your boys again.
Classic.
But yeah, I've never been to Philly, so that's another thing. Excited to go to the city of Philadelphia. I was just talking to Red before we started of saying that I lost the battle of trying to not buy shoes before this trip because I don't know.
I feel like every time we went on a trip, you lose a battle with buying shoes, either before or immediately after.
Yeah.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it? Why does that happen?
I don't know. Sometimes you just be like looking at other stuff for trips, and it's like, oh man, these shoes are dope though. Like scrolling through shoes on like the app or something, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, well I don't need these, but sure, why not?
That's been like the catalyst of buying shoes for my entire life. I don't really need these, but they're gonna hit. I need some new for Philadelphia. Yeah, first time in Philadelphia myself. Very excited as ECW young boy. I'm excited to see a show at the formerly ECW Arena, now 2300 Arena. That's really exciting thing for me. Very close to a lot of wrestling history there. There's a show happening where the original Ring of Honor, the first ever Ring of Honor show happened in Philadelphia, and they're doing shows at the Murphy Rec Center this year. So it's like all these kind of crazy full circle moments. Supercard of Honor is going to happen. Wale Mania is happening. Phil, I don't know about schedule, time, or nothing. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm just going to chill. I usually go in kind of like trying to do a million things, but I'm not going to try to do a million things this year, I think.
Yeah, coming into this, and I was looking at stuff for Wale Mania, and I kept seeing all those graphics go up. I was like, hey man, sure it'd be cool if we got like Philly Freezer or like Broad Street Bully on there. And sure enough, Beanie Siegel will be at Wale Mania.
Unbelievable.
That is absolutely a cultural moment for rap fans. Beanie Siegel being in the building is huge.
Can't believe it.
Listen, man, if him and Freeway appear on this stage and do what we do, we might be out of here, bro.
We gone. We gone. It's too much culture, too much stuff going on. That's also kind of wild. Is last night watching SmackDown, they showed a commercial with Meek Mill and it's doing Dreams and Nightmares and hashtag WrestleMania right underneath it. And I'm like, yo, this is like the most culture you can get. I remember last year, where did Uzi performed? Maybe was it at Royal Rumble or something? And I was why didn't they just have Uzi perform in Philly? But if you're gonna have Meek, Dreams and Nightmares, like I don't think there's anything better than that, right?
Meek getting the trailer for WrestleMania is cool. Yeah.
I never thought we would get to a place like that, Phil. Like Meek Mill? What?
Yeah. Alexander, I don't think we'll be seeing Diddy on any stages anytime soon.
It's wild because I was just watching speaking of WrestleManias, I was at WrestleMania. WrestleMania was at 27, maybe 28, one of those Rock and Cena main events. And the show's happening, and then they're like, next up, we got a special guest, Diddy. And I was like, oh man, this is like awkward. And I remember being there at the show and thinking, why is this happening? And then watching it now, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. Moments are connecting. He's got to get out of here. There's a lot going on, Phil.
Yeah, that was the big news this week. Diddy's homes got raided. That was everywhere. More stuff is coming out of the deposition, and there's more. Like the feds are on this guy's ass. It's wild. Did not think we would ever see this day that this guy's like on a PJ, not at home, and they're raiding his crib. He's like in Miami. At one point, he was out of the country. I was like, this is insane.
They had Justin and King Combs hemmed up. I'm like, yo.
Yeah. But yeah, this seems like a growing pattern with this kind of stuff where once people start coming out with old things about you, whether it be like the sexual assault or harassment stuff, then it gets to a point where we can label it something and we can turn it into some actual legal proceedings. And man, the second it turns into that, buddy, it's off to the races. We saw that with Cosby. We saw that with R. Kelly. We saw that with Weinstein. And now we're seeing it with Puff, where it's like, all right, we saw all these stories coming out, but the second they put the sex trafficking on it, he's out of here. I mean, actually, also similar to Vince McMahon to make it relevant to wrestling.
Yeah, it's wild that just sick situations going on. I hope all the victims have some kind of peace, some kind of restitution, or some kind of something out of this because it's been insane. Speaking of Vince, did you see that he got $100 million off of his little stocks this week? Brother, still coming up big time off of this company, not being involved. And will this ever end? Is my question, Phil.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna continue to make money in some way. But yeah, all of the legal stuff happening with Diddy is insane. I mean, we still have legal stuff coming out with Vince as well that is just wild as well.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, everybody's like, when it gets to the feds, when the feds are there, that means they got a case, like they got something real. And it's funny, Phil, because we've heard stuff forever, just like with Cosby and just like R. Kelly. We've heard these things, rumors, hip hop rumors are endless and grow and stuff. Urban legends are crazy. We've heard things about Diddy, but when it gets to now, it's different. If a thing goes viral, if it gets to TikTok, like things move at a different pace. Where it used to just be like niggas are talking about it on the street, so it didn't really matter, or talking about it on raps or whatever. But when it gets to this, when white people start being like, "Have you heard about Diddy?" then it's a rap.
Yeah. Oof. Crazy week. But yeah, wrestling.
Wrestling.
You know what it is. If you want to send us your super chats, be sure to send those in. If you want to send us your humper chats, humperchats.com/Fightful is where you want to be. Sure we have. When I opened it, I saw we had a bunch of humper chats. Let me get those up in front of me.
Yeah, we got a couple supers. We can start with those. We, of course, always appreciate everybody for supporting. Waking up on a Saturday morning for forever at this point. Phil and I do not take no days off. We always appreciate y'all. Y'all are the best. Then Twin Blade says, "Who the F is Mania? Is collective season, baby." You're right, Van Twin Blade. Most of the last couple of years that I've went, I haven't even went to WrestleMania, and I'm just there for the independent wrestling because I'm a freak zoid. I didn't go last year. When's the last WrestleMania I went to? Sasha and Bianca. Damn, that was heat though. Oh yeah, because I didn't go in Texas either.
Yeah, no, I every time I think about the first WrestleMania we went to collectively, um, most places I went, somebody be like, "Hey man, where's Reg?" I'm like, "Oh, he's somewhere watching wrestling, man. He's at the collective, like, cause you were at the collective almost every day." So I'm like, "Yo, nah, he's somewhere watching indie wrestling."
Yeah, that's pretty much. I was late to Wale Main. Everybody's like, "Where you at? Where you at?" I'm like, "Yo, I gotta watch this
Watching
wrestling
wrestling.
show before I get there. Like, it's wrestling first, everything else second. I love it. It's the best. Things are different now because I'm a different person. Somebody called me low key famous this week, Phil, and I was like, "Can you relax, guy? Like,
Yeah, no.
let's take it easy out here. I know I'm in these streets, but there's a lot more. I don't get the stuff that come along with it. Can I get the perks then? It's like you can have this a little bit where people think you're somebody, but you don't get none of the perks, and I don't want it.
I don't think I'm
Grapple.
nobody.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'm nobody. Grapple Geekery says, "Just wanted to say how much I appreciate this podcast for the humor, pop culture discussions, and different perspectives on wrestling than the norm." That's what we do.
Appreciate you, bro.
Even though what we do. Appreciate you always supporting Grapple Geekery. Y'all are dope. Just Mask Does Wrestling says, "Maybe this is petty, but if Cody loses night one, I may legit be done with WWE for a while. It feels like a slap in the face. Keep any part-timer as champ."
Yeah. If Cody loses, I think they're gonna lose a lot of goodwill that they've gotten over the last year or two. I think
Definitely.
that at this point, you cannot have him lose 2 years in a row.
No.
But
I think this is a general consensus for a lot of fans of like, if you do us like this again, if you take us through these all these hoops and everything, and Cody doesn't win, something's gonna happen.
What do you think? I addressed this for Bleacher Report this week. Do you think that Cody is hotter right now than he was last year? Do you think losing at WrestleMania last year helped him?
Is Cody hotter than he was last year? No, I don't think so. I think last year, like the fever pitch was crazy. Like going into the show, everybody was like, Cody's gonna win, he's gonna finish the story. That's what the thing. Now it's like Dwayne has came and dominated the news cycles, and Cody's attached to that, so he's still hot, but I don't think as hot as last year, you know?
I think Cody is still popular than he's ever been.
Totally.
But compared to where he was 2023, I do think like the reaction and the like people that want him to win or the people that even wanted the rematch this year is a lot more split than it was last year.
Right.
And that wasn't the case until you dangled Rock versus Roman at us. And I think that's changed a lot of people's minds. And I also think that people have kind of, I don't want to say seen him as a novelty, but wrestling fans are very much like fickle. So the second they see something else that gets their attention, it's like, oh, why do we care about this Cody stuff anymore? And I think because it's been going on for so long, because the finish the story thing has become a tagline, it's become the promo packaging for the video game and all these other stuff. Some people have gotten a little tired of it. And so I think that he is still incredibly hot, but I don't know if I would say he's hotter than he was at the start of 2023.
And I don't know, like that's kind of something you couldn't. That's why they should have did it at the point, because like that was something you can't replicate. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to replicate it essentially, and it's like he's still super hot. He's still one of the hottest, maybe even the hottest wrestler in the company. So it's like they can't take that away from him. But compared to last year was just different. It's funny, on SmackDown yesterday they showed a little graphic that was like top 5 most played characters in WWE 2K24. They're doing stats like that now. And Cody was number 1. So it's like Cody is still like over The Rock, Stone Cold, like everybody. Like he's still out of here, and it's still he still needs to be the world champion. He's still like, this still is all his. So it's still there, but it's just, not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it also helps that this is kind of like the best crop of baby faces we've seen in the company in a long time.
Exactly.
The baby faces that are popular are very much over.
Yep.
And, I don't think that it hurts them that he's like one of them, because he's very much the most popular baby face in the company at the moment.
Yeah, no, you bring up a great point there. It was like last year, it felt like it was just Cody. Now there's like a bunch of other baby faces that people can get behind. And that's a good problem to have. It shouldn't just be Cody. It should be a bunch of guys that can be next up, because Cody needs opponents. Everybody needs opponents.
Yeah.
Devil Kazuya 27 says Hollywood Rock's one of the GOATs. Glad he's back.
Man, Rocket. I feel like we've been saying it every week. Coming on this podcast, every time he shows up on TV, I'm like, yeah, this guy's in his bag, man. He's delivering some incredible television, man. Again, I was wrong. I was very skeptical about Rock coming back for WrestleMania season, but man, he's been locked in, bro.
I'll take that on the chin too, Phil. I was wrong. After that gender promo, I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe we should keep that. But no, he took everything. He took all the criticism, then turned it around. We're going to talk about The Rock on Raw, because that was something else. Ronan Mike Clip says, happy Grapsody, everyone. Did you see Adam Cole get worked over by Rio in Street Fighter 7 or 6?
6.
Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I did see their little stream. Kenny Omega is up to streaming, considering he's still injured, and there's some news that came out on Ken this week on he might have to have surgery. Stuff is weird. Get well soon, Ken. But yeah, they're streaming. Ken's giving star ratings. They're playing video games. Adam Cole's there. Rio's in the building. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I didn't watch the stream, but I saw Mike Bailey was there. Adam Cole. Yeah, I would assume because Rio is friends with Kenny Omega that she knows how to play Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And so if I had to take a bet going into that matchup, Adam Cole versus Rio, I'm taking Rio.
Do you think you could beat Kenny Omega in a Street Fighter round?
Absolutely not. I've watched him play Street Fighter several times. Absolutely not. I cannot beat this guy. And I've been playing quite a bit of Street Fighter 6 recently, but no. I'm not like a real Street Fighter player. I'm really like a novice. This guy is a pro level player.
That's why I was asking, because I know you've been playing a lot. I'm like, maybe he feels nice on the sticks. He might get him.
Nah. I don't want no smoke with Kenny.
And then Bragov says, happy Grapsody. Appreciate the content and entertainment on YouTube as well as other social media. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting on so many different platforms for us. You're great. You're always sending super chats and being dope, Bragov. We appreciate you over here.
Appreciate you, Bragov.
That's all of our super chats for now. Y'all are the coolest.
Yeah, again, appreciate you guys sending in your super chats. Got Humper Chats. If you want to help fund our wrestling trip endeavors, help fund me in my shoe addiction, that is the best way to do so.
Yep.
Let's see, we got some from Tony P. He says, this was a week where everyone on earth needed therapy. Louis Gossip Jr. passing, the Be More Bridge, scummy people leaking people's personal pics, yarn issues, fights about final bosses, racists going after black female gamers for making a safe space for themselves. Yeah, that whole black girl gamers thing is so strange to me, but we've seen this a few times with white males in geek fandom being strange for some reason. I don't really get it. I completely forgot about that bridge thing until you just brought it up,
Same
Tony.
here.
That was crazy. Getting up that morning and seeing that was absolutely nuts. Hopefully nobody was hurt or anything. I didn't see any of the specifics, but what a crazy visual to wake up to.
Yeah, I think last time I saw 4, 5, or 6 people might have been
Yeah.
lost out there. But yeah, Phil, sometimes when you just like wake up and start looking at your phone and you're not like fully awake and you're just like browsing the internet. I'm like that looking at my phone and I see this clip and I'm like, what is my brain couldn't even compute what's happening. I'm like, maybe I'm seeing a movie, like, because this is crazy. And then I start reading into it and I'm like, what, dude? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. A fucking ship crashed into a bridge and the bridge collapsed like Tetris
Yeah.
and shit. And
It,
just like,
yeah.
I drive on a bridge like 4 or 5 times a week at this point, Phil, and like just like so many crazy things. Hopefully everybody's well or things and the people I don't just know. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely know some people and be more. I'm sure some people use
Yeah.
that bridge to get in the city. So that'd be terrifying getting up that morning and seeing that and not knowing if your loved ones were on that bridge when it collapsed. Yeah,
Our
real
friend
awful.
Nyla Rose tweeted about she's in Baltimore and she said she drives on that bridge all the time. So it's like, yo, I think Drew might be in Baltimore too, man. Like, it's
Yeah. They call
crazy.
me Brian H is also, I believe his people are also in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scary. Uh very scary stuff. Also rest in peace to Louis Gossett Jr.,
Man,
first black man to win best supporting actor at the Oscars. Legendary actor, man. Uh Tragic loss.
yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace to Louis Gossett.
Rest in peace to the OG. Like, there's some people's names that just I've been hearing my entire life, and the big homie Lou is one of those. So rest in peace.
Yeah, immediately somebody put up that clip of him hanging out with Tupac on the infamous night in Vegas, and just thinking of all the stuff that Tupac did that night. Like, yo, he went to the fight, hanging out with Luke Gossett Jr., stomp out a crip in the hallway. Then, of course, what led to the stuff after that, the violence afterwards. Like, Pac had a wild night in Vegas,
I
man.
mean, I've been in Vegas a couple of nights where I've been like, yo, a lot went on, but Pac was on another level. This guy was in 20 different places at all time. The random Lou Gossett picture, he's like there'll be a random celebrity be like, yeah, I saw Pac that night too. We kicked it. I'm like, wait, how did he
Insane.
have so much time to be hanging out with everybody? And then the untimely thing that happened, just such a crazy situation and crazy story. But Lou Gossett is part of that too.
Yeah, part of a historic night for a terrible reason. Um, See, we got more from Tony P. He says, getting confirmation DEI is the new coded coded nigga and the hard R hell racist running so rampant that TK is catching the two and gets hit with the wrong slur. How nuts Diddy is and 50 running his mouth too much like Jericho. Go hit this go hit this you? Oh, this you. Sorry. This
Mm.
you. Uh yeah, yeah, I think 50 got chill out, bro. Like some of this is funny, but we've seen too many times where somebody is doing too much and then eventually something crazy will come out about them too. So yeah, he got chill out, man.
Stones in a glass house. It's like the 50 stuff can be funny sometimes, but this situation is so personal and so there's way too much going on. I think for all the jokes that 50, I know like he's really close to the situation with Diddy and all this, but like
Yeah.
might have to relax on some of it.
Yeah, and I mean, if I felt like this was just him wanting to see justice served, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But this is just him being petty, and they,
Exactly.
of course, like most rap beef, he is linked over some woman or something that they both dated or something crazy.
And there's a lot of victims in this, and y'all bringing rat beef to this. Like, we don't need that.
Yeah. But some of this is very funny. I just
Always.
don't want to get on here one day and see the 50 Cent stuff. And I mean, it already tried to happen because his baby mom accused him of rape, I think, and assault.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, you gotta.
Chill.
It can always turn into your term. That's how these things
So
go. I've realized this quite a bit with the internet thing of bullying people and the group speak. Eventually, it's your turn. And so if you're one of the main ones that's like the ringleader of trying to dunk on people, eventually it'll be your turn to be dunked on. So you gotta be careful, man. Gotta be real careful.
people are waiting in the wings. They got emails, they got receipts.
Absolutely. People are waiting for your downfall every time, bro. I don't care what it is you do or who you are. Somebody somewhere is waiting for their chance.
Mhm. Wait to get this nigga.
Can't wait.
What did I do?
Man, I don't know. So it could be over something real frivolous, man.
Right.
More from Tony P. He says the Dana Tiffy beef, Rhonda showing how much she hates WWE. It was so toxic and crazy. I was barely online, and the shit just kept happening. This is on top of more serious issues going on in the world. Just had to get that out. Um, yeah, I didn't really understand the Dana and Tiffany thing. I have to assume that Dana's working a little bit.
I would think so, but what does that get for her? Yeah, I didn't really. I'm like,
Yeah,
y'all are in two different companies. I don't know if y'all are friends, then yeah, but like, if this is real beef, we don't need to hear about that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, this week, Phil, two books kind of have been setting the world on fire. Rhonda's and Becky's have been random notes and clips have been coming out, and every single time somebody goes crazy. Rhonda is just like giving it all the way up. She's like, on that one Thursday, y'all remember? Yeah, they did this and they did this, and this is why. And we like, all right.
Rhonda is making it very clear she did not enjoy her time with WWE by the
I
end.
did not like it there.
If you did not know that at this point, she was not enjoying herself. And I think a lot of what she says has some validity. I think that it's telling that somebody of her stature was also having issues with the booking of the women under Vince McMahon. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's her experience. Of course, nobody can say that, that didn't happen or hey, you're exaggerating. That's her experience. If that's what happened and that's how she felt about it, then it's her prerogative to put that out there.
That's the most interesting thing about it for me, Phil, is she's saying all this, and it felt like for the time she was there, they were only booking her positively, or they were only booking around her, or it was her show. And like every time we talk about evolution, they're like, it was Rhonda's show. And it's like, well, no, she's given up a whole different story in her book. Like she was trying to do things, she was trying to change things, and they were just shutting her down every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see that. Very telling about like the struggles that the women go through in wrestling. For somebody that is as popular as she is and is a celebrity to also have to still go through the same kind of issues as a woman, I think that's very telling.
And it seems really bad because she don't want to go back either. Because like it's a different regime, and she's like, I'm chill. I don't want nothing to do with that.
I mean, she spoke highly of Triple H, but she just still don't seem like she want to go back. The Becky stuff was very interesting because we got the book, we got a bunch of excerpts from the book, we got the MMA Hour interview, and we got the collision of the books in this. That she had some stuff to say about Rhonda in the MMA Hour interview. She had stuff to say about her in the book. It seemed like
the WrestleMania 35 thing that Rhonda said, I'm not tapping out because my mom would be ashamed.
Yeah, that was a wild quote. But when Ariel asked her about Rhonda, it didn't seem like Becky really wanted to get into a lot of the Rhonda stuff. She seemed reluctant. But yeah, her just flat out saying, yeah, she couldn't wrestle. I was like, look, man, Becky been trying to tell y'all for a minute. She's not on my level. I don't want this feud. Stop asking me. I don't want to wrestle this woman. Stop. Right. she's been basically saying this now since the WrestleMania 35 main event. When people are like, "Oh, we're getting back to this eventually," the ending of the match happened that way because there's going to be a rematch. She's been basically shutting it down. Like, no, there won't be a rematch. She needs to get better before we get in a ring. I'm not trying to hear that. I don't need to wrestle her. She needs to wrestle me. It's essentially what she's saying.
Exactly. Yeah, the tables turned, Phil, because coming into it, it was like everybody wanted the big match of Rhonda. She's a huge celebrity, MMA champion. Becky is essentially getting the rub being a part of that. But then, like, in the midst of the feud, the whole thing flipped, and it was like, no, Becky's the big star here. Becky's the one. You should want to be having a great match with her. And she saw that. She was like, wait a second. They're putting me in a different position than I want to be, and I'm already up here, and they're trying to bring me back down here, and I want no parts of it. Yeah, she seems very open about the whole thing in her book, and wanting to. People are still like, well, it could happen, and she's like, nah, that's not happening at all. I thought the stuff about Bianca coming out, she said that they knew about Mercedes essentially a week out before the SummerSlam match, and they could have booked something better essentially, and they just did it.
Yeah, I thought that spoke a lot to what Becky has done for the division. That quote where I guess she said she found Bianca crying about it afterwards, and she
Right.
told her like, "I'm gonna make this right," and that has ended up being Bianca's best feud on the main roster
She made
with
it
Becky
right.
Lynch, and she did, end up getting a great WrestleMania moment after that, and it did come full circle. So I really like that. I really like that Becky continued to stand up for her and continued to fight for that conclusion, because buddy, at first I was looking around like, man, that's how y'all doing Bianca.
Remember, we talked about it after it happened, and we were not happy. We were
Yeah,
very upset about it.
yeah, very terrible, but I'm glad that came full circle, because man, that SummerSlam stuff was dismal.
But yeah, Becky did it. I mean, this book and kind of this run has shown just the locker room leader that she is. We talked about it, like she's bigger than division. She's bigger. She's like a top star there. Like she runs. Like speak about WWE, you speak about Becky Lynch. And I'm loving that she's just kind of going through this, telling her story. People are running with some funny things. They saw her dating Finn Balor previously has gotten people in a tiff. I'm like, you guys are just, it's wrestlers.
Yeah.
So like if you knew of the amount of wrestlers that dated before, you'd be like, wow.
Yeah, I've seen some people saying, why hasn't that been brought up in the Rhea feud? And I feel like out of everything Becky Lynch has told you about the stuff that she's tried to get away from women having to do, I feel like the last thing she would want to do is have this feud about somebody she used to date, and she's like moved on and married with a kid. Like, she don't want to do that.
Like some real, we're trying to be sports based. We're real. I want to be better than you. We're not going to bring in the petty bullshit of that. That just reminded me of that stupid meme that Roman Reigns account tweeted about your boy.
Listen, man,
Just
we're
terrible.
we're gonna have a dialogue eventually, bro. We're gonna have a dialogue, because man, boy, that was not funny to me. And
Not at all. I
I
didn't
saw
crack a smile or nothing.
I saw people saying, "Oh, people are missing the joke. He's not saying he's literally a virgin. They're saying he's a virgin as a WrestleMania main eventer." No, it's still not funny.
That's it. That's supposed to be
Still not funny. Sorry.
awful. He really thought that was going to hit too. Roman, I want to say that this last couple of weeks of Roman is a part of the story. Like he's acting is not as bold and as wild as he used to be, because like the Rock thing is a story and this is weighing on him, and that's the eventually reason why he loses the championship. But also he could just be off his game and be like, I'm kind of tired of this, all y'all. Maybe I do want to just go home and stay home forever. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I thought that.
What's bringing him back to this show, Phil, after WrestleMania?
I assume we're getting a Rock match eventually.
You think he's gonna go
Maybe.
babyface, Roman?
I don't know. But yeah, we've talked about it before. I just think that Roman has not looked as nearly as interesting coming into this WrestleMania as he did last year. I honestly feel like he's the least interesting character of the four guys in a tag match at this point.
He seems the least interested.
He seems. I don't want to say that I believe he's phoning it in. I have no proof of that. But yeah, I don't know. When you look at what the other guys are doing to hype up and promote this match,
right?
That meme ain't it. That trying to come back after Rollins posted the GIF of him flipping the belt around his head after beating him, and cashing in and going, that's when you became permanent number 2. And I'm just like, you're kind of looking like number 2 next to The Rock though. So I don't know.
Big time.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's the flex after that guy beat you for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Haha. Well, after that, you became behind me. No, he still beat you in the main event of WrestleMania, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't take away with your little meme, bro.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's legit. He seems the least interested, like not even the least interesting, just the least interested. When he's out there, he's like, again. But I'm like, maybe that's a part of the story, you know?
Maybe, but I don't for a minute believe that he made that meme and put it out there. I believe
No,
that most of these wrestlers, somebody runs their account.
totally.
I just think that that one was a dud. That was not funny to me.
Maybe run
Uh,
this one by me first, you know, like
yeah,
before we drop them out there.
maybe pick a better reference in a movie that was made almost, you know, 20 years ago.
Your target audience don't know what this is, bro. They're not listening. They don't know what 40-year-old virgin is.
They know what it is, but I just don't think that reference really hit. But I think Drew right now is killing it on social media side, so other people are starting to trying to get in that lane, and
Yeah,
man, Drew is just doing it better than everybody else, bro.
way different.
Yeah, Drew pulling up to Mindy this week. That guy is on fire, bro. That guy is killing it.
Do you think Punk is on the line fine with all of this?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think people that think he's at home like stewing over this stuff, like, oh, you see him? He was up the street at Mindy's. Like, bro, he probably told him where Mindy's was. Like, he probably
Right.
drove from Punk's place to Mindy's. Like,
Probably was. He probably took the picture. Honestly,
yo, Punk being behind the camera, like, yo, come back this way a little bit. I'm trying to center
you
you.
know what I mean?
Nah, I don't buy for a second that he's upset about any of this stuff. I think that, everybody's working.
Right. Because people are like, they have like PTSD from AEW. They think like anytime anything happens on camera or off camera, that Punk's gonna just be punching people. And I'm like, that's not what's going on here, you guys.
No, I don't think that's what's happening. I think that all of these guys are working. I think Punk, Drew, and Rollins are working.
Right.
Let's see more from Tony P. He said, why Aubrey had a live therapy session on stage after that Ken diss about the bad man after him instead of getting into the fucking booth and facing his problems. Let it be a woman, though. He would have whipped some shit up in 5 minutes and been slandering them up. Bro, have you seen this clip that he's talking about?
I have.
And
it
yeah,
made
no,
me angry.
him getting hyped at the end of performing first person shooting. He's doing the biggest of what? Big as the Super Bowl, pussies. I was like, oh, okay, he said that with his whole chest. All right. Take that energy to the booth, bro.
Let's see. Dude, just get in the booth. I don't care about it.
No, but I laughed very hard at that clip. I've watched it several times. It's very funny, man.
Do you think that speaking of PTSD, do you think Drake has PTSD from Pusha? Because like that diss was like, bro, maybe I'm not doing this no more because that diss was crazy. Like that Pusha diss was like on the. I could put that on the Mount Rushmore disses of like the dagger that was. Do you think Drake's like, I'm chill, bro. I'm not trying to do that again. This nigga Kendrick is calculated as Pusha is.
I don't know. I just don't. I think that he thought he could keep playing in this guy's face and he wasn't going to respond. And I think that's what it was. I think that he thought that we were just going to keep doing the dance and keep doing the subs, and that he wasn't going to get on a record with a guy that used to be a friend and really flip his card over. Like, yo, all right, rapper, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, enough.
Are we rapping? Yes or no? There's still people that are. This whole beef is so funny. Like, Drake was supposed to put out. He was supposed to be featured on a rapper's. I don't even remember the rapper's name at this point. Supposed to be featured on a rapper's album, and then the rapper said that he essentially took his verse off because Kendrick set the world on fire with that. And it's like, oh yeah, there's people that are still thinking that they're like, why didn't he say any names? I'm like, what more do you guys need, dude? Drake knows that he was talking about him. Like there's no secrets here. Cole knows, like everybody that's featured.
He said in the bar, he said in the verse, fuck subliminals. He didn't have to say his name. He said everything linked to the dude. He mentioned his song by name. He mentioned references he's made. He referenced his album title. It was very clear who he was talking about.
It's people don't like storytelling, is what I've learned, Phil. And
people don't like storytelling.
Like
Yo, they need the video clips for the.
They need the video package, bro.
They need the video package for the Kendrick verse.
But the funny thing about the internet is there are video packages now of
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I saw this week when somebody was breaking down some of the lyrics from 8 a.m. in Charlotte, and they were like,
Mhm.
"See, these were subliminals to Kendrick this whole time." I'm like, y'all didn't know this when this song
Did you
came
guys?
out? I
Yeah,
thought that was
like
pretty clear. He's been sneak dissing this guy for years.
anytime pretty much he's talking about like being the top rapper or shooting at the top guys, he's talking about Kendrick. It's all Kendrick. Because who
I,
else?
I mean, I think the very idea of first person shooter and them both getting on a song and saying, "Hey, we're the top two in this industry. Hey, there's a big three, but we're not going to mention his name on this record or have him on the record." Yo, that's indirectly a shot at him.
A shot.
It's indirectly a shot at him. I don't care how you phrase it. It is.
Hip hop. If Drake is Kendrick's watching TV or watching his phone and that song comes up, a video comes up, and they're like, "We're the best out here. We're blah blah blah," and he's like, "Nigga, what?" Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is.
Uh,
Just rap.
Yeah, Drake. I've seen all the little spicy IG captions he's putting out and all the other like inspirational quotes and stuff. And I know we're gonna get another song soon about how he doesn't have any real friends in the industry. But bro, just rap, man. It's cool.
I mean, he is losing a lot of those friends. Like Ross was
Yeah,
playing the Kendrick stuff.
yeah. I
That
feel like
debate this week of people being like, "Oh, Drake made Ross hot," and I was like, "You guys are 12.
all right, man.
Come on, we gotta
All
relax."
right. He had 2 whole big albums before he did a Drake collab. Let's
Yeah,
calm down. I do think that he's benefited more than most rappers from the Drake stimulus package.
definitely.
But Ross was still Ross before he started doing those records with Drake.
And he still would have been Ross without Drake, but he definitely
Yeah.
has benefited from him being around. Like their records together are huge, you know?
Yes. Yeah. People were tripping with that take. Um, Tony P says also, as a Wu fan, I'm not mad at Offset for telling lies to the people. You're supposed to tell people you're gonna knock Tyson out before the fight. Everyone knows you're gonna get knocked out, but we respect the confidence. And Cody. Yeah, no, I understood what Offset was saying. I think people getting
Yep.
upset with that were being weird. Like, bro, for what Migos did as a group and him being a part of one of the most influential rap groups ever, especially of this generation. Definitely, I would say the most influential rap group of this generation.
I think so.
He has the right to feel that way. If he's gonna be like, no, we're number 2 behind Outkast. Hey, that's his opinion. I don't agree with him, but doesn't mean.
Yeah, I think that everything he said was on the line, especially in hip hop. Like, yo, no, we're the best. We're the best group of ever.
You're
We
supposed to
want
think you're the best.
totally.
And I haven't watched the entire interview with Shannon, but I thought most of it was very good from what I've seen. I think Offset's very good at the media stuff. He's very well spoken. I think he's also really good at like the packaging and branding stuff, like stuff he's been doing on the performance side. He just seems like a really smart dude.
Yeah, he seems like he got like the plan before he executes something. He like makes a big list of everything that he's gonna do. You saw that clip of him talking to Shannon and being like, "Yo, you got to stop wearing them skinny
Yes.
jeans."
Yeah, very, very funny. You gotta stop wearing them tight pants, bro. I'm trying to tell you, trying to keep it player with you, bro. I just think he's just cool, man. The way he talks,
Yeah.
just the way his mood, he just seems so chill. Like, nah, nothing getting him out of his mode, bro. So when he answered that question about best rap groups and he answered it confident like that, I'm like, all right, well, I feel you. I don't agree, but I feel you.
It's Wu. We know forever that it's Wu. 9
Yeah.
niggas together. Nobody else ever be better than Wu. I don't care what anybody like. Offset and the Migos changed the whole game, the industry. But Wu Tang, come on, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I understood what he was doing. Tony P says, look at you now, boy. Look at you now. You to help Rocky get his second petty of the week. I swear Dwayne watched the Django before all that because he whipped Cody's ass like he was one of the Brittle brothers. Then kept it up after they said cut. He was in the zone. The way he was saying boy, the emphasis he puts on that boy, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And then I'm like, oh yeah, he's black. Okay.
But he could do that. He could do that. But
All
when
right.
it was happening, I'm like, oh wait a second. Should we get
Yeah.
into it? Let's get into it, Phil.
Sure. Let's get into rock on Raw this week because was not supposed to be appearing on Raw. This is a surprise
I
appearance.
forgot about the connection there in Chicago.
In Chicago, Illinois. I was excited to see him, but then I was like, well, I did not plan to go to the show because I didn't think anything that big was going to happen. And then The Rock shows up. I was like, oh, cool. Well, just missed one of the greatest wrestlers of all time popping up at Allstate Arena. But yeah, this was great. Cody did his usual opening the show. Rock came out and whispered something in his ear, and I think this led more people to believe the double agent thing of he wouldn't say what he said, and so this was more of the coded stuff behind, like, is there a plan between Cody and The Rock? I'm not sure if I still believe that that's not the case, but there was enough here if you were a believer to make you question that theory. Because Cody did all this stuff. We ended the night with Jey Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event. Jey won the match, but Solo Sikoa and Jimmy showed up. So Seth showed up to help him out. Cody came out to help him out as well. But out of the shadows, Rock popped up and just proceeded to beat this man's ass throughout the hallways of Allstate Arena, out into the raining, out into the rain, out in front of his bus. Listen, Cody's been back there since 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy's been wanting to bleed from day one.
Man,
he's been waiting. So I have to believe that the second this was proposed, Cody was all in. He's like, oh yeah, blood.
Blood. We could do anything in the world. I don't care. Do it to me.
Nah. Game definitely came on. Blah blah blah.
1000%. Yeah, I thought that The Rock first coming out for the little surprise and the little whisper thing that prompted everybody to be like, well, what did he say? What did he do? Can anybody read lips? I'm like, wrestling fans are so funny. But the beatdown was great. And the controversy coming off of it, even better, Phil. I ate it all up. Your boy Meltzer put out a story that The Rock went off script. They shut him down and he kept going. And he told the producers to fuck off and don't do this. And then I saw the video and I was all, Meltzer, did you see the video? And then Rock put out a statement where he's like, I hate when they try to stop me from doing. I'm like, everybody's working. This is hilarious.
Definitely
and then
working.
They played the clip on SmackDown and I'm like, if that was off script, would they have played this on the show?
No.
Hilarious. I thought it was great, though.
No, they put it online and they put it on TV. There's no way that was off script. I think it's to play into his character that he's throwing his weight around and nobody can tell him what he can't do. I'm your boss. I can do what I want. I'm the final boss. I say when this is over. I'm not done beating him down. And so, no, I think all of this stuff was great. I think the beatdown was really great. I've been saying since he came back and showed up with the Versace shirt that a lot of things he's done are very reminiscent to things that he did in his heyday at his peak. Yep. And this very much felt like him sneaking up on Vince McMahon on the Monday Night Raw after Judgment Day. And he like followed him to his limo and beat him down and threw him in his limo. And then he beat up the rest of the members of the McMahon-Helmsley regime. This felt very similar to that to me.
He does look extra Flow Rider-ish with his Versace shirts on, though. We have to admit that. What do you think about the people think that they're subliminals because the truck in the back had Stone Cold and Cena on it? I'm like, what? But what is that?
Yeah, I've seen people say that means that they could step in and appear at WrestleMania. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It is WrestleMania 40.
Idea.
It's 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them in some form. Maybe. But yeah, I thought this segment was really good. This was the best ending to Raw we've seen in a long time. I've seen people say that this is the best episode of Raw in recent memory. I mean, it was a fun episode. I thought the Rock stuff elevated it past like your usual Raw because by the end of the 3 hours, sometimes I'm just like, all right, well, it was a lot to happen. It was
Still
a lot.
happen.
Yeah, watching 3 hours of wrestling is just very hard. So sometimes once you get to that last 3 hours, it's like, oh my god, come on, wrap it up. But this was a very very good cliffhanger. I think this was a really good way to build to WrestleMania. Um, Man, Rock has been doing most of the heavy lifting of this build. Man, he has made this tag match feel like the biggest match in the world.
Yes.
Um, it feels like he's back. It feels like he's locked in and doing wrestling storylines. He's not just there as a celebrity anymore. He feels like a professional wrestler again. And I think that's the best part about all of this.
Yep. Yeah, I don't when people are saying like part-time, I don't even like people saying that. Like, no, Rock came and like he's like, I'm gonna dedicate these 3 months to being the Rock. And I love that, like, because he's all in. And Monday really hammered it home for me. Just the way that he was talking when they went off air and he started cussing and he was just like the Rock as fuck. I was like, man, this is really,
It
really,
was
really
really,
good
really,
stuff.
really, really great. I really loved it. I think the stuff at the beginning of the show to lead to it was also great. Um, but yeah, man, some of y'all at Rock fucked up, man. Some of
Think
y'all were
so.
talking crazy on the Rock's name, and I
Totally.
think he has proven why he's one of the best to ever do it. Why he's one of the most entertaining guys without having wrestled in a single match in a month. He's
Yeah.
been one of the most entertaining guys to watch on SmackDown and Raw.
They kind of try to say my bro was washed.
Yeah, people was talking crazy on him. But he's been
Like, that's
he's
the
been
Rock
killing
though.
it.
You don't just forget that.
Nah, man. Rock has been in his bag. You can't just say that anybody has watched. This guy's been killing it. Which speaking of, did you see your guy say that he watched Kendrick on No Parties in LA? I saw
Listen,
that.
he has an argument.
I saw that as the first sentence on this long IG post or wherever it came from, and I stopped reading like shortly after that. I said, "Okay, enough,
He has an
enough."
argument, Phil.
Yeah, oh.
I like his verse.
This is a good verse, but I don't think anybody has watched Kendrick on
No.
anything in I don't know how long.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
had
the
a better
one where
verse, but washed?
yeah,
No.
exactly. Yeah, we gotta take the words out. Like, better verse and washed are crazy. That's the one where when he was in Kim Kardashian was like, Kanye's in the air right now, and he's about 80 bars deep, right? And I'm like, all right. I don't know what
Okay.
this is, but this is weird.
Yeah, and I like No Parties in LA a lot, but
It's a great
come on.
song.
But yeah, no, Rock was phenomenal. I think Cody has been phenomenal. I think a lot of this is gonna help Cody in the long run as well.
Yeah.
Because I do think that
Rock
Rock
rub.
has overshadowed a lot of these guys, but I think Rock as a heel has helped make Cody into an even better babyface.
Yeah.
Um
It's like, if you want to be overshadowed by anybody, Phil, The Rock. Like, if anybody's gonna overshadow me, like, I think it'll be okay, because I think everybody's getting a rub off of it, and the stories coming out of it are gonna help everybody. And he's supposed to be gone, so like, I think he's doing a great job at this, and he's not gonna win the world championship, so everything's fine here.
Yeah, yeah, very much excited for the tag match. I've been saying that since the kickoff show, but every week I get even more excited for the tag match.
It's in a
Just
week,
so
dude.
yeah, just so many things going into it. Getting to see The Rock wrestle in person, Rock main eventing WrestleMania again for the first time in over a decade.
Your
My
boy's on the
guy
other
getting
side.
his moment. My
Yeah.
guy happy that he's on the poster. He's getting his main event spot next to Roman. Cody's there. Cody's gonna main event 2 nights in a row. Yeah, I'm excited. I do think it sucks that the women got shortchanged in the booking for this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But really excited for the tag match. The other stuff from Raw that people talked up, of course, I thought the Rhea and Becky segment was good as well. Dom took one for the team.
Ooh, he caught a cold one.
Took that one for the team. Clean. People throwing the Kendrick verse over that. Hilarious.
Becky took a little bit of liberties, it looked like, man, right on the
Yeah,
chin.
I think that's the best segment that they've had together, though, because I think some of the booking for Rhea and Becky has been kind of,
I think
kind of, it's been kind of mid. But I've been excited enough for the match that I've been looking past it. But I thought this was the most I've been engaged in what they're doing so far. I think this felt like, all right, we're finally getting to it.
right.
So I thought that segment was good. I thought we got a banger with Ricochet and McDonough to start the night. Probably my
Ricochet acting like Ricochet finally.
Ricochet was fire. He always gets a pretty good reaction in Chicago. Go
Yeah.
figure. Chicago, very indie-rific crowd.
Yeah.
They like the flippy guys, so he usually
Mhm.
gets a good reaction here.
He
Um,
does.
I thought the Sammy Bronson match was cool, but we didn't get a whole bunch of wrestling on this show, which is part of the reason that some people are like, is this the best Raw ever?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, everybody's like, because coming out of it, everyone was like, that's the best Raw. I'm like, and then they were like, oh, there's about 13 minutes of wrestling on here. And I'm like, a 3 hour show? You
Yeah,
sure?
I would have liked to see some more wrestling, but I think all of the stuff that
But
was
it's WrestleMania
good.
season. Everybody's like, it's not time for wrestling. They're building to
Yeah,
it. I'm like, all right, I understand.
yeah,
Sure
I think
thing.
all of the stuff that was good was very good. We got the Drew Rollins and CM Punk segment. I was wondering what Punk was going to do because they had been promoting him in Chicago a week before WrestleMania, and I was just like, I don't want to just see him go out there and do just like a regular promo, and we're not building to anything. If this was him and Rollins having a promo to build to their match and he wasn't hurt, I would have been there.
Right.
But seeing it as just like him just cutting a promo, I wasn't excited. Boy, this segment was way better than I expected it to be because they just let these guys go out there and just improv off script. It seemed like that was a report that came out that there was an outline for the segment, but for the most part, they were just playing off the energy of the crowd, playing off each other, and you could tell that at one point, my guy Punk was out there doing this Enes. Uh, when somebody else got a bar off, he would immediately start interrupting them. I was like, oh yeah. This is off the cuff.
He in his bag. Yeah, no, exactly. You know, when Punk is being Punk, it's like, oh, there's signs, and they were signs all throughout this. But this is the what we want, Phil. We want this uh shoot work style mixed in. Everything feels a little bit real, but everybody's on the cuff, everybody's on the line and in on the deal too.
Yeah, I thought that made the segment that much better. That it felt natural. It didn't feel like stilted and
Mm-hmm.
scripted. I thought all three guys came off better for it. I think Punk is kind of in his realm when he's doing those kind of things. He's just better when he's off the cuff. Um, he said a lot of very controversial things here. I thought the best line of the entire thing was him asking Drew, "Who chose you? You're chosen one, right? Who chose you? Say his name." That was great.
Who chose you is hella funny, and the person that chose you, I'm like,
Yeah, who chose you? Wasn't the people of Chicago? Wasn't the fans? You gonna say who it was? Yeah, I thought that line was really great. I thought that hit. I thought Drew got some good jabs in. I thought Rollins got jabs in here. Unfortunately, the line that most people talked about was CM Punk on air saying that he listens to the drive through and the experience.
I blocked this out
Uh,
of my brain for the last couple days. Damn it.
I I don't need to get confirmation that he likes Jim Cornette and he likes his podcast. I feel like we pretty much already knew that,
Yeah,
but I did need to get that on
on air
on
on the live.
television.
Mm.
Um, and I understand how some people felt that they were very upset that he was plugging those podcasts. But I do think that it's a very internet thing. I think most people have no clue what he was talking about. That crowd definitely could care less.
The crowd don't care about. They don't know what he was saying. They're not gonna go and listen to Jim Cornette's podcast after that promo
No, I
segment.
think that's a very much internet wrestling thing. And so
Mm.
people who do know what he was talking about, of course, it's either gonna embolden you or it's gonna really, really annoy you. I just didn't. I didn't really need it. I didn't care for it. I saw, of course, some people they're doing the, oh well, how can he be a trans fight rights guy and then also pub up a guy that is a bigot? Listen, man, I don't know the guy. I don't know. I can't judge him based off of what he listens to in his spare time because I don't know what he listens to it for. I can't say that. All right, he's listening to it to agree with his like bigoted takes. It could be that he just wants his takes on the wrestling. Now, I also feel like it's hard to separate the two, absolutely, but I don't know if I can just be like, all right, well, because he listens to the podcast, that makes him a bigot too. I don't know if that really lines up, but again, I don't know him. I don't know these people. I ain't his lawyer, so I'm not about to sit up here and defend him. I didn't need to hear that on the podcast on this show. I don't listen to either of those podcasts. Have no interest in any Cornette shit.
I know some wrestlers that listen to him just specifically to hear him talk
Yeah.
about them. You know what I mean? So it's like they it's not that he's banned. There's people that care about his opinion. There's all this. We just don't want to really see it on TV, I think is the thing. Like we know,
Yeah.
I can understand, but like I don't want to like he doesn't need any help with this. And this like all of his little minions got on.
Yeah. Yeah, we got that picture of Cornette like on one knee with the Punk shirt on, and I was like, oh man. I was
Pretty unfortunate.
Ugh.
It's like that's a great promo segment, and that people are just focusing on that
Yeah.
stupid thing, you know.
Yeah, I was good on it. I didn't need it. But
a lot of podcast controversy this week.
Yeah, of course, of course that turned into, oh, are you still a CM Punk fan? Yes. Sorry. Sorry.
Because there was some yesterday, some Tiffany Stratton drama. She's a Trump supporter. I don't know. I'm just reading what I was seeing on the internet, and I'm like, you guys, if you knew your favorite wrestler who they voted for,
yeah, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of wrestlers have terrible social and political views. That's just what it is.
Your favorite wrestler,
and that's not to say that all right, well, Punk doing this is okay because everybody has bad views. I'm saying that most of your wrestlers have terrible views and you don't know these people. And so I'm a fan of CM Punk, the wrestling character. I don't know him as a person. So I don't really care to, defend him as a person because I don't know who he is or what his beliefs are.
I was gonna be like, just supports the black wrestlers, but some of the black wrestlers be on some shit too. Look, you can't. If you don't know nobody, you don't know anybody. Don't try to judge. If we're judging off of that and that, you can. It's on the line. I do it myself, but it's you gotta.
Yeah, listen, big AJ Styles fan. I try to avoid as much AJ Styles stuff from outside of wrestling as I can because I just want to preserve my love of AJ Styles. He's a fantastic wrestler. Let me have this.
Listen, we just talked for about 30 to 45 minutes about a guy who has an American flag tattoo on his neck. I fucks with Cody heavy. I like him a lot, but I mean,
we've said on this
podcast.
If
I saw Cody on the street and he wasn't a pro wrestler, I would cross the street. You know how they do with black people? That's what I would like. People in Bakersfield, there's people like Cody and they scare me. And that's not anything against Cody. I think he's a great guy, but like, I don't judge him off of that. I'm not like, I fuck Cody because he has an American flag tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, look, big Cody fan. We've said on this podcast and talked about his burner account that existed at one point. So it just is what it is. I just think you can be a fan.
If you want to do it, you can do it, but you're gonna be like, damn, these are some crazy skeletons out here.
Yeah, I just think you can be a fan of these wrestlers, but also recognize that they as people are imperfect. That's just what it is. And it's just what it's always going to be. Now, you have the decision to make of how far it is too much for you and what is the line for you that you decide, I don't want to be a fan. And that's all, subjective. That's all, people's personal preferences.
Listen, I haven't stepped in the name of love in years. It's like, what line do you want to pick? That's the line I picked. I'm good. I don't want to step in the name of love no more.
Yeah, nah. I thought that this relitigating the Cornette stuff was like, all right, guys, we pretty much knew at this point that he was a Cornette listener.
I mean, he's friends with Dax, and Dax, they all talk about how much they love it over there.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen that people are making this. Well, Punk is of course a Cornette listener because he hates AEW and he hates the Bucks, but I don't. I don't think that was the thing that started making him a Cornette guy. I think he was a Cornette guy before that. When you look at like where he's come from, he's an ROH guy. Cornette.
I'm pretty sure he was in OVW with Cornette. Like this isn't like just 2 years ago he discovered this podcast and likes Cornette.
No, I think this is the thing that some people just don't want to believe or accept is some people very much respect Cornette for his wrestling takes and his place in wrestling over his career, and they separate that from either they separate it or it's not a deal breaker for them. The other stuff that he does. Now,
Totally.
personally, it is a deal breaker for me. I don't listen to his
What's up?
podcast,
I don't listen
have
to
no
it.
interest in it, but
Mhm.
I can't tell anybody else what to do with their
What did he
time.
call me? Right set for head.
Right said Reg, baby. All time great moment.
So
Um,
good.
just yeah, I don't know, man. I
But yeah,
just
I feel like you can play it however you want. If that's a deal breaker for you, it can be.
yes,
That's where I
absolutely,
land.
absolutely. I just
Play it
don't think
anybody how
it.
you want.
I don't think it helps anybody to put this in to put this to bed for now. Wrap up on it is I don't think it helps anybody to have these moral debates about whose wrestler is the most upstanding person because
We all gonna
frankly,
lose.
you just don't know. You just don't know what these people stand for and what these people do behind the curtains. You just don't know.
As soon as them curtains open up, then everybody's like, "Oh shit, I thought this guy was cool." We saw it this week with this internet shit that people like, we gotta stop thinking everyone is cool. Also, I'm sorry, you guys. Like, that's just not how this works. It's not how the world works. You should
Yeah,
try to see the good in people, but you also should just be careful.
yeah, absolutely. You should
That's
be
it.
careful. And I know the troubling thing with CM Punk is he's always kind of blurred the line of how much of it is CM Punk the person, how much of it is CM Punk the character. And you know, it is tough to put two things in the same category. CM Punk, the guy that has spent 7 years saying that that place sucks, I'll never go back there, and now he's there. CM Punk, the person that has been like, I stand for LGBTQ community, blah, all the rest of this stuff, but also listens to a podcast where a guy is bigoted.
It's still it's
Yeah.
funny the parallels that him and Max are still running. Like they're just still trying to outdo each other. You know what I mean? Like they're still doing. Like you could tell that's still Max's guy because they do the same bits, kind of.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like a lot of these wrestlers, man. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to have a crossroad at one point. Like, oh, is this too much for me? Yeah. Mm.
Listen, I don't know how I feel when a Chris Benoit match comes on. Like I don't like. Should I turn this off? I
I
don't
haven't
know.
watched
Separate the art type thing. Like I've watched a bunch of Chris Benoit matches. I don't know how to feel about it.
I haven't watched the Benoit match in I don't know how long, but I was a big Benoit fan at one point.
Probably just watched one 2 days ago. You know,
Yeah,
legit.
very tough to think about him and separate everything. Yeah, really good wrestler at one point, man.
Yeah, yeah, fucked up. Yeah, let's get into a few super chats before we move forward. Matt Gray Sky said Mustafa Ali's wrestles in my city tonight. Let's go. I haven't got to see Ali live. Is he? I'm sure WrestleMania weekend I'll catch him one match, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he's wrestling during WrestleMania weekend, but I'll see him the following weekend at Wendy C. Riot.
Oh yeah, because I forgot about the TNA thing. That stuff runs a little bit different. Windy City Riot is coming up, huh? Man, that's gonna be a big show. A lot of stuff's gonna happen. A lot of stuff's going on there. Dex Baker says, "What's the point of Roman Rock match at this point? Originally, it was supposed to be the passing of the torch to the new guy on top, but how long is Roman staying around past the next Mania?" Great question.
I think it's just getting to the dream match that people have wanted. I think that the story stuff there with the bloodline and the family drama, I think that's really the point to get in. I feel like for the most part, it's just kind of a way uh to just kind of give you like a bookend to Roman's time as the tribal chief.
Yeah, I'm kind of on Dex's side here because it's like the thing was supposed to be we got to crown the true tribal chief, but I think like I don't want to say it's past Roman's time, but I'm like we might have to crown somebody else because like how long is Roman? Roman don't seem like he's about to be chilling here. He's about to be at home kicking it, you know?
Yeah, I don't think this is a passing of the torch moment in a sense that this is making the Roman like the next guy and just cementing him as the next guy because I feel like he's already cemented himself
You already got
as
that.
the top star of this generation.
Mhm.
I think it's really just to bookend this character arc for him. I feel like that's really what's more about than anything.
Mm. Dex also says, I'm not ruling out Rock winning another world title just to tie the Goldberg record of winning a world title in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. I hope not.
Listen, as much as we've been sitting saying how great this Rock stuff is, how much I'm enjoying it, I do not want to see him as champion. I'm good.
The role he's in right now is perfect. If he became world champion, that wouldn't be good.
It's too much, man. Like this is what happens. People will be like, "Oh, you like this, huh? You like it? Well, here's this. No, I like it, but there are limits. I don't need him to be champion.
You like it? Here's this.
No, please no. Don't do this
No,
to us.
Please don't do this to us. Alexander Fitzgerald says, "Did you see TK's tweet? He tweeted out AEW where the best wrestle. The toxic IWC flooded his replies. I even saw someone calling him a racial slur. TK claps back with responding to the trolls."
Yeah, I think this is just where Tony is now, and this is a common Twitter thing where once you've done something that has annoyed people, every time people see your tweet, they're of the assumption that you're just annoying. So they're just annoyed with anything that he tweets. And I thought that was a pretty harmless tweet. I think it was just him. I don't even think it was just like an opinion that, hey, the best wrestler is wrestler. I think he was just putting over the product as a promoter.
That's
and
it.
I think people just overreacted to it because that's where he is right now.
It's like they keep trying to play off of this. Everybody keeps comparing AEW to WCW, especially with all this Eric Bischoff talk and all the things. It's just like WCW used to have a thing called "Where the Big Boys Play," and it's just like AEW's thing. We're the best wrestle. He says that.
Yeah.
It's a promoting thing. He's a promoter.
Yeah.
Friend Eloquent says, unrelated but new Rock Marciano album is crazy. I listened to it yesterday, and yes, times 1,000. I came on this podcast probably 2 or 3 weeks ago after the Schoolboy Q album came out, and I was like, I just don't like new albums. I lied. Rock Marcy album is hard. It's
that's your kind of music though. Rock
exactly
Marcy is
just like, give me what I want. I hate when people try to do like, I'm gonna do a 2020. No, give me exactly what I came for. I came for Rock Marcy beats and Rock Marcy raps, and that's exactly what it is here. Super hard. I need to listen to it 20 more times. But if you want classic rock talk, it's it. I love it.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. I did see bits and pieces of his interview. I gotta search out this interview now because
wait, he did an interview? I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was some sound. There was a clip from it that was online. I forgot what it's in reference to. I think it was. Oh, it was because he was saying that he was in a nightclub that night when Ho stabbed Un.
Oh,
have you seen that clip?
I haven't seen it.
And like, yeah. So I've seen. Maybe it's an old interview, but I was like, what is this for? I have to look up this interview now.
Yeah, I want to look up that too. That sounds hilarious. Meet Norma says, "Sup, partners? Let's crank." Right. Here's some sneaker money for my Wizards rant. Why the F Lotto with the 3-game win streak? Also, Dynasty will have a better wrestling than Mania. Cody better finish his story.
Man, Dynasty's looking like a banker, bro. I was very much on the fence about going to the show at one point, but it seems like I'll be there. Yeah.
I'm pretty upset that I'm not going to be there because Danielson and Ospreay is insane. But the rest of the stuff that they added is even crazier, and I'm jealous of everybody that's going to be there.
Yeah, Wizards did decide to win some games.
Why did they do that?
Wizards got a weird team. I don't know what to make of it.
Sometimes those young boys are just like, let's go play hard today. And everybody's like, all right, let's do it.
I guess your guy Draymond was in the news again because he got ejected out of the game 10 minutes into the game.
Oh, he's trying to kick somebody in the nuts too. I'm like, Draymond, please relax.
You could just see the pain in Steph's face afterwards where he's just like, bro, I just want to play basketball, man. Like, I just don't care about none of this. I just want to play basketball, man.
It was like, all right, dude, I'm tired. I can't take this anymore. It's like when your kid keeps acting up and they keep calling you in for the parent-teacher conference and you're like, all right, I've stopped. I can't. I'm done here. What can we do to help? And that's what it feels like with Draymond. He's like, dude, I'm tired of your shit. But Draymond just adds a certain energy that they need. It's like between a rock and a hard place. It's like when he's there, the energy is better. The Warriors play well, but he's fucking a wild card and he might kick somebody or punch somebody.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of the times too that the Warriors needed him in that game. You can see Steph's frustration against the team. Let me check my notes. The Orlando Magic are playing good enough that you're just like, look, we need you for this game. This team is playing well. They're hot right now. You can't be doing this. But But that's just
Yeah.
a sign of where the Warriors are. You can see like the end of their time in the sun, and you can see like younger teams are hungry, man. And when you play a former champion, you play up for that game, and you can see that with other teams like Houston Rockets right now as well. Man, Houston Rockets, they want that spot, man. They want that 10th spot. So they're one of the hottest teams in the league since the All-Star break. They don't care about who they're in front of. It's
Nope.
Warriors. It's this team. We're trying to win. We're trying to get that spot.
I love that energy too. I like when new teams win. Like we don't need to be seeing the same old teams. I want to see some new young blood out there killing it, even if it's at the behest of my team who just need to restructure. We've done it, like won championships as this squad, big three with Clay, Draymond, and Steph. Like we gotta switch it up at this point.
Yeah, the young guys are definitely stepping up. Wemby is still looking like that guy. That kid's looking special. Spurs got a big win over the New York Knicks. I'm sure some Knicks fans who were not happy about that on the timeline. But man, in a minute, this is gonna be Wemby's league, bro.
Yeah, totally. It's set up for him. Devil Kazuya 27 says, "How do you reheat the Undisputed Kingdom, man? Wardlow. How do you reheat him, Phil?"
I don't know. Because it's hard when the biggest star of the group can't wrestle, and I think that's really the issue here because not just because he can't wrestle, but the main guy that they had their main storyline with is not there. So it's like
Yep.
you're trying to keep momentum for an act that is built off a feud where the two guys in that feud aren't wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hard. And I just don't think the only thing that you can really do to warm this up is get back to the Max and Cole stuff. And I don't see where you can anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. Because like coming back, whenever MJF comes back, I'm not super interested in him jumping back into a feud with them, considering where they are at this point. That wouldn't even
Yeah.
make sense for Max's character to come back for what he's going to come back to, fanfare and all this, to go back into them who are not at the hottest at this point. I think there's some things that they can do, and the first is breaking it all up.
My man said, how can we warm this up? Nah, you were like, nah, throw it away. We can't heat
Throw
it
it
up. Throw it
away.
away.
It's over. Nah,
Nah,
microwave's broke, bro.
no,
But
sorry.
yeah, I think like because they're still trying to like just like you said, they're trying to tell this Adam Cole story. They're trying to tell this Wardlow story, and people have no interest in Wardlow. So like all the objectives that you're trying to achieve, people have no interest in it. So what are you selling us here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I don't think you're going to be able to salvage it until you have Adam Cole healthy and you have
Right.
Max back on TV. Max is another one that I think people got Max fucked up. I think the way he finished his title run, the last few feuds of it, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. There were other things he did as champion that people weren't a fan of, but no, this guy was one of the hottest guys in the company at one point. This guy was a proven ratings draw. He was very much over with the crowd, but people are just like, "Oh, I'm not looking forward to him coming back." Like y'all are crazy. That
That's
crowd is
nuts.
gonna go nuts when he comes back.
Insane. And they're like, oh, since everything that's happened with the new signings, he's not going to fit in. I'm like, you guys again got Max fucked up, bro. He's going to fit right in.
He's not just bro. This guy has proven across that reign that he's not just a talker, that he can
Come
wrestle. You think that he
right.
can't come in tomorrow and have a great match with Will Ospreay? What?
Easily.
This is Max.
Bro, we watched him have one of the greatest matches of all time against Bryan Danielson in an Iron Man match. You can't tell me nothing about Max. He could keep up with anybody there. What do you mean?
Yeah.
People are funny. Eloquent says Dynasty / Mania will be dope, but Super Card of Honors. Super Card of Honor card, Phil.
It's looking like an all timer. They always do this to us where we're kind of sitting around like, man, what is Ring of Honor doing? And then we'll get like a week out from the pay-per-view and it's like, oh man, this pay-per-view looks fire though. And the pay-per-view will be really good. And then we'll be having the same conversation like 3 weeks later, like, man, what is Ring of Honor doing?
Phil, I feel like it's happening on purpose. I feel like they're directly doing it to me because I have the. I'm like, yo, I'll see the show will be fire. We're at the pay-per-view. We're like, damn, that was the craziest show I've ever seen. And then weekly, I'm like, what the hell was this last Ring of Honor episode? Just what? Why are you guys showing me this? Like Brandon Cutler and Colt Cabana are in the tag team. I like both of these guys, but I do not have any interest in seeing them during this build-up for Super Card of Honor. But then just like you said, they get me riled. I'm like, what are they going to do with this card? Then they start announcing matches, and I'm like, oh man, they announced this Stardom 6-woman match that's going to destroy the entire planet. I am so excited about it. Supercard of Honor is going to fuck everybody up.
Yeah, looks like a really, really good show. If you're one of those people that had your detective hat on with the Rossi stuff and why Tony was so excited about it, I do think it's telling that since Rossi has been gone, Stardom wrestlers have been a part of 2 Ring of Honor shows.
Got right to the shits, Phil, immediately.
Yeah, I think that's a good sign for Forbidden Door this year.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Like immediately, as soon as he was gone, they were like, "All right, Stardom's here. We're gonna have Stardom representation here tomorrow."
Bro, the president of Stardom was backstage soon as Mercedes showed up. Like all of the Mercedes people over there that have been saying they want to wrestle Mercedes, all of a sudden they're right there. Mina has been saying for damn near 4 years at this point she wants a Mercedes match, and she pulled up immediately. Soon as she debuted, she's on Ring of Honor.
I'm here in the main event and everything too. I'm like, oh, I see exactly what's going on here. Really good stuff. Matt Gray Sky also giving some love out to Supercard of Honor. He says, let's not forget the Supercard of Honor is going to cook. Wish the weekly product would even try to match that energy. Matt, man.
I mean, the television title tournament has been good. I think
good.
that's been good for the women. I think it's been a good spot for the women. I think that's the best thing about the show so far, that it has been a good place to watch women's wrestling. But yeah, I just think one of the main issues is that you've got to be able to build the show around your champions, and not having the tag team champions on the show, not having your world champion on the show, it hurts it. I Athena's doing great as champion. She is the face of the brand, but you just need those other champions on the show.
But I was about to say, if you love women's wrestling, brother, you can eat some good meals over on Ring of Honor. They give it up. Even the Supercard of Honor card is heavy on some great women's wrestling. Like that specific aspect is great for Ring of Honor, and I don't want them to change that. Juan also giving some Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor a love to ROH Supercard of Honor booking 3 women's matches, Joshi Mania, Stardom, and Spark booking all the Joshis. It helped me since I know Maria Asuka isn't winning this year. Oh, since I know Mania, Asuka isn't winning this year.
No. I just want like nice things for Asuka as a fan.
Yeah.
But I think the second we saw the build to this match, it was very clear that Asuka's not winning.
Yeah, unfortunately. Alexander Fitzgerald says, I don't know why they didn't have the Undisputed Kingdom feud with Acclaimed or Bullet Club Gold. Would have made sense storyline wise.
Yeah, I think Bullet Club Gold is a good storyline for them. But again, the main thing you want to see out of that storyline is Adam Cole versus Jay White. Not having Adam Cole there is going to hurt it no matter what. I do think there's some interesting stuff you could do with the Guns and the Kingdom, but no, people want to see the leaders of those factions face off.
No leaders, nobody's going to be as invested as they were. That did play a role, though, Phil, of like the reason that they all got together when they unmasked, they immediately kind of forgot their mission objective. And I was like, well, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, there were so many reasons to go back to the Bullet Club Gold stuff if Adam was healthy, because, of course, Jay White is the guy that was in the match when Adam Cole got injured at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
They attacked Jay White. That was the first person that the Devil and his men attacked. So yeah, there were plenty of reasons to go back to that storyline, but it's tough to really carry it without Adam Cole being able to wrestle.
Baby. Shout out to Adam Cole. Hopefully he gets well soon. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Eloquent also says, y'all got Billy or Queen Aminata? This one has had me up all night for a couple of nights because they feels like they've been setting up the whole tournament for Billy Starks. Like essentially she lost to Athena, and then they were like, well, there's this new championship, and she was like, I'm winning that championship come hell or high water. But then Queen Aminata came and just kind of set AEW and Ring of Honor on fire, and all of her stuff just hit super hard, and they've been telling a story with her on the show, and it's like, man, maybe Queen Aminata might win this. I legit don't know at this point.
Yeah, I think Billy's winning. I think the story here has been Billy from the beginning. I think it's good that they've built up Queen Aminata as another option that could win. And I would love to see Queen Aminata win, but I definitely think Billy's winning.
Definitely, he says. I don't know. The Queen might get that.
Yeah, I just think that this was from the second this title was announced, the tournament was announced. I felt like this was a way to give Billy the big W that she didn't get over Athena.
Definitely. It's gonna be a great match. Another super dope match for that card. I'm telling y'all. That's all of our super chats for now.
But yeah, man, when you say that, you've got the women's television title match, you've got the Stardom 6-woman match, and then you've got the world title match for the women.
Mm.
3 really good women matches coming up. Really excited for that show.
Like any one of those 3 matches could be match of the night. Like by the time we get to Athena and Sheeta, we're gonna be like, we seen the craziest thing of all time, and then they're gonna just blow our minds.
Yeah, I definitely think that Athena versus Sheeta will probably be one of the best matches of the weekend.
Definitely.
Get into some humper chats. Of course, as I said earlier, if you want to send us your humper chats, humperchats.com/Fightful.
Mm-hmm.
Tony P says, I can say I am more excited now for night 1 tag main than the night 2 main. I told myself I would make the trip if both nights were worth it, but I feel night 1 will outshine night 2 again like last year. I don't know. I'm at this point more excited for the tag match than I am Cody versus Roman. But I think that Cody versus Roman can deliver. At this point, there's no way I don't see this being like an overbooked extravaganza where you got all this interference and all these run-ins.
Yeah, it's gonna be the bloodline is gonna be there. I'm telling you, Rikishi, all the gang's
Yeah.
gonna be coming through. But this kind of feels like how I felt last year because I was way more excited about the Usos versus Sam and Kev last year. So it's kind of same thing again.
Yeah, it's a weird place to be in where 2 years in a row a tag match has been one of the most exciting things about WrestleMania season, but it also doesn't seem like they put any more emphasis on tag team wrestling.
Also at the same time, yeah,
It's weird.
it's weird. Right.
More for Tony P says, how optimistic are y'all feeling about the possible direction of the stories to come post WrestleMania? By the way, the 5 announced matches for Supercard of Honor already makes it must watch match, and TK is gonna randomly add some good shit to it. I think he'll add more Stardom talent to it. The first, I think after WrestleMania, there's some really interesting stuff you can do with a few guys if you move the title. Like I think Sammy as champion could be really good. I'm assuming he's going to beat Gunther, but even if he doesn't beat Gunther, you still got the Chad Gable stuff after that.
Mhm.
I'm very curious to see how they could possibly book Cody as champion. They could very much botch this, but I think they've got plenty of story possibilities with him.
I'm interested to see who his opponent's going to be coming out of this because I think that's going to be the most important thing. If it's kind of locked into like another member of the bloodline or something like that, it's not going to. We got to start kind of fresh, essentially, and it can't be like Seth. Like we got to start with like a new, fresh face to bring Cody into this. I'm interested to see what they do with Gunther coming out of this. Is he going to lose the belt at WrestleMania? And is he gonna be because that could be Cody's first feud? Like that's a good way, but do you want to have Gunther immediately because he can't beat Cody? You know,
I have to assume if he wins, he's probably going to move to SmackDown, right?
that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm.
I thought about this the other day, but it's probably not like a weekly feud that you can do straight away. But I think if Cody wins, him versus Braun Breaker makes a lot of sense because Braun's also a second generation guy, and he's a guy that wants to build around like the legacy of his family. I think that could make for a really good one-off match, and you could do some cool stuff with Braun out of that.
Who's the biggest on SmackDown other than the Bloodline though that he could get entangled over there with?
That's a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing the heel and family stuff, Santos makes sense. Santos is also second generation guy. You've got the AJ match that I've been hoping that they get to.
AJ, that's the one. Oh, Bobby Lashley too. Maybe we turn Bobby Lashley because seeing Bobby Lashley last night, I'm like, what the hell are they doing with Bobby Lashley?
So it seems like they're going to do the 6-man match with Bobby and the Street Profits taking on Karrion and AOP. That's my guess.
Care?
I just want Bobby on the card. I just don't want
Okay.
to get. I don't want to get another year of him not having a match for the card.
Oh, well, what is it like, dude? He's like I said last night. I saw him. I was like, oh, he still looks amazing. He's still awesome. He could still be a world champion. What's going on here? Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Karrion Kross, but
Yeah, I laughed very hard at the closing of that match and their interference, and Kieran gets on the mic and he cuts his little promo, and then afterwards he just like yells like yeah. I was like, what? What was that?
yeah. So when they shot back to Karrion Kross, I'm like, I don't care about this. Shoot back to the tag match. Like, I don't care what he's saying or what he's doing. This is terrible.
Yeah, unfortunately, the way that tag match was built, I figured Theory and Waller were going to be the ones that moved on to WrestleMania. Just because at every turn, every time somebody from that faction has gotten ready to win something, Karrion has come in and cost them the match. So I figured that was going to happen.
Really good tag matches too. That's what made me mad about it. I'm like, get out of here, dude. This tag match is cooking.
We didn't need that. I am very surprised though that Pretty Deadly doesn't have a match on this card. Just the way that they've been booked straight out coming out of NXT, and I kind of figured at one point they were going to be one of the teams in a ladder match, but they're not. So
that is super.
They got a big win last night.
I thought they would make the ladder match cut too. I'm actually that's one of the most exciting matches for me. Actually, is that ladder match because historically a tag team ladder match has been one of the biggest hitters in WrestleMania, and I think all the elements that they have in this is going to be really good.
Yeah, but yeah, seems like we're getting
belts though.
Seems like we're getting a 6-man match with Lashley and what is their stable, the Pride. We're getting the Pride taking on Final Testament is what it sounds like.
That just sounds insane.
I just want the three of them on the card, man. That's all.
it.
I just want Street Profits and Bobby on the card.
I thought that Street Profits maybe had a chance to win the tag match and be in that ladder match too, but they didn't.
I kind of assumed they were doomed from the beginning. The second I saw how Bobby lost in the Rumble and how Bobby continues to lose because Karrion won't leave him alone, I was like, yeah, they're not going to win.
I hope he leaves him alone post WrestleMania. Jeez, Louise.
I do think it was the right move to make the Pride baby faces though, because they weren't getting booed and people want to like the three of them, so it just was never going to work.
Oh, they switched the Street Profits theme back too. You see that?
Yeah, that was the right move because they weren't going to get booed. Let's see, more from Tony P says, I can say good wrestling like CMLL show was fun. Did take sting out of my Tar Heels losing to another fucking buzzer beater. So did that 60-point ass whooping we gave to the Blazers. So Reg, they should trade Draymond in the offseason or keep him.
Trades. Sorry.
I don't think they're gonna trade him, but yeah, man. It's all of the things that I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work for the Warriors coming into the season. Turns out it might not be working. Chris Paul is over there sitting on the bench. He was hurt all that time. Draymond is still getting ejected out of games. I don't know.
Should not have kept Jordan Poole though.
Yeah, Jordan Poole has been a disaster over there in Washington, bro. Oh man, what a great like rise and fall he's had. Like from being like a G leaguer to being a NBA champion, now being like an afterthought. Yikes.
Now being whatever he is now.
Yikes. Tony also said, before I end this, shout out to the women's tourney for having more banger games than the men's. Them ladies be going at it hard as hell and be competing. So many fun and close games. Yeah, man, this is the first year that I can remember that women's college basketball is really the biggest talking point. This is the least I've seen people talking about the actual tournament, and more I've seen people talking about the women. Like this, I feel like that's good for women's basketball. Hopefully that leads to some stars coming out of this and going to the WNBA.
Yeah, that makes me excited about the future because, like, when the young women and people that see these games now and how much fanfare they're getting, just going to inspire them to get there too. And that's just going to lead to better for everybody. It's super cool. And the women are balling more than anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was laughing because when Caitlin Clark broke that record, I said, "Man, I know my dad is somewhere tight." He was just telling me like a few days before that he was a big Pistol Pete fan, and so I was like, "Yeah, I think she's gonna break his record, bro."
And she
He was
did that.
like, "Yeah, I kind of don't want to see it," because I was like, "Yeah, but that was a long time ago, Dad. I'm sorry."
Yeah. Got to
my
get these accolades.
my dad also, by the way, called me right before the Justin Fields trade happened. It had to have been like 10 minutes before it. And we had just made that trade to get the receiver. And he was like, I don't think they're going to move him. I think they're keeping Justin Fields. I was like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, I think we're going to keep him. I got off the phone with him, put my phone down, and fell asleep. Looked over at my phone afterwards, and I saw all these people texting me, and I saw the trade talk. I was like, "Yo, don't seem like they're keeping them." And of course, one of the texts was from my dad. He's like, "I guess I'm in mourning." I was like, "Yeah, sorry."
Nice knowing you. And one day, Chicago. Yeah, you're used to it. It
Well, I mean,
wasn't.
I think they're in a good spot. It seems like they're going to draft Caleb Williams. I can't say that I'm as excited about having Caleb Williams as our quarterback, but I think they're in a good spot. They can be a lot better next year than they were this year. We'll
Mhm.
see. I don't know.
Mm.
Let's see, from T Enfield, he says, for Grapsody, Drake, Kendrick, and Cole are the big three, the same way McDonald's is the top in burgers, Walmart is the top in stores, WWE is the top in wrestling promotions. The top three most skilled of this generation are your old Droog, Pusha T, and Bodie James. That is definitely a hot take, sir. I
Very hot.
think I think the guy that bucks that the most is Kendrick, because yeah, Kendrick is mainstream, but when we're talking about talent, Kendrick is still that guy. Like Kendrick is still out rapping most of the three guys, all three of the guys you named, sir. I'm sorry, like Kendrick is better than all three of those guys.
Totally. And I think Kendrick, the boundaries that Kendrick tries to push changes it. It's Drake is the one that clouds everything because the anything attached to him is also attached to the big three. So like Cole and Kendrick are like spitting. Like if them other three rappers were like, let's rap, them Kendrick and Cole are rapping against them and probably beating them at raps. I don't know if Drake can do all that.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
just the game. Like Drake's been the
yeah,
top rapper for like the last 14 years, but that's how the game works. Like the mainstream don't care about Boldy James just because that's not how the game
no.
works.
And Bodie's been smashing. He's been putting
He's
out great
amazing.
content. He's been putting out. I don't know how he's putting out all these albums, but the music has been fire.
So
Big
good.
Bodie fan, big Pusha fan, but no, Kendrick's better than all three of those guys. And honestly, Cole has been rapping like he's better than three of those guys, man. To be
Yes, he
completely honest with you.
has. That's what I'm on. Like people keep talking about Drake. I'm like, I don't care about Drake. I'm trying to hear what Cole does because I know he was in there like, oh, this is what we're doing. Let's go for it.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody just made one of those MVs for the Miz, and it had Forever as the music on it, and I was like, this just feels like it was like a different time. Like Drake don't rap like this no more. Like that was one of his biggest records, but that record is like what?
What is
Forever
this?
came out what 2005 or something like that?
No, maybe a little bit later than that.
Maybe 20. That's
Maybe like 8 or 9, maybe. It's old.
yeah. It's an old record, and I was
But
like,
yeah,
this feels
Drake's a completely different rapper from then.
yeah, nah. And I understand people are like Drake is pop. He is like mainstream rap, and so some people are always going to consider other guys like underground indie guys better than him, and they probably are in like talent wise, but like the run Drake has been on, the music he's made, the impact he's made on rap, the impact he's made on so many other people's careers, like nah.
Now we just talked about the Drake stimulus package. That's real. Like you can get on a song and your whole life could change. Like that's different. There's not a lot of rappers that in history that have been able to do what he did, what
Yeah,
he does.
I think the part where people were talking about the Ross thing and how he wouldn't be Ross, I wouldn't say that, but I do think it is interesting that two of the guys that are beefing with him right now have benefited very much from making music with Drake. Future has absolutely benefited from making
They have an
music with
album
Drake.
together.
There's
Yeah,
no way you can get around that. Now, Future has a great career in his own right, but Drake has
totally.
also had a big impact on his career. There's no denying
Yes.
that.
And him and Kendrick have been connected legit since their first time. Like when they first came onto the scene, they were right next to each other, and they'll never
Fam,
stop being right next to
Poetic
each other.
Justice is still a record, bro.
Yeah, a really dope
It's
record too.
yeah. Kendrick's verse on which song is that on the mixtape where he has like
Um,
I keep wanting to say Marvin's Room, but it's not Marvin's Room. It's on that same. I'm drawing a blank.
mhm,
I'm old,
yeah.
but no, they have great collaborations together, and part of me does want to see them make a song together again, but I don't think we'll see that anytime soon.
Maybe in like 10 years.
Yeah, they'll have their Hove and Nas moment at some point, like when we're
Mm-hmm.
all old, and they'll appear on a stage together, and people are gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
From Black Phoenix Brand, he says, "Happy Grapsody, gents. Gotta cut the yard, so I'll get my talking points out of the way now. I have zero interest in anything punk related now. Brawl Out really killed my fandom and everything thereafter, especially going back to WWE, buried it. Yeah, it's understandable. I've definitely seen a lot of people that were longtime punk fans that have turned the corner on them.
Yeah, that's fine. If the shenanigans, like I said, if they're a deal breaker for you, like that makes sense. When's the last time you woke up on a Saturday morning and cut the yard, Phil?
Probably as long as somebody could yell at me to get up and cut the yard. That's probably the last time it happened.
Same. Like can't nobody come and yell at me to go outside now, but when it could happen, yeah.
Yeah, Lord knows is the record that I was thinking.
Oh,
of.
Lord knows, yeah,
Just
yeah.
Lord knows.
Like I know it's like something.
Let's see. More from Black Phoenix Brand. He says, definitely feel like Swerve is ready for the title at Dynasty, but it won't be his memorable reign. The reign will establish him as a champion, but I think him winning a second time will really be the reign. I think it's a little soon to say that. Because he hasn't started the reign yet, so we don't know what it will look like. I do think that AEW has an interesting problem right now with the Will Ospreay stuff because so many people want to see Will Ospreay be the guy that eventually wins that championship.
Right.
And so I think when Swerve does win the belt, that's still going to be the thing in a lot of people's minds. Like, all right, I want to see Will Ospreay get the match with Swerve. I want to see Will Ospreay as champion. And so that's going to unfortunately put a damper on his reign if he does win a Dynasty. But I just think it's too soon to say that this isn't going to be a good reign for him. We haven't seen what he's going to do yet.
Totally. And it's like you said, it's like a good problem to have. Like it's going to be shadowed by great things like, oh, what about Osprey? What about Bryan Danielson? What about Okada and all these great wrestlers? But I think that's going to add even more motivation and even more energy to Swerve to try to be the best world champion. He knows what he's competing with out there. He knows what the locker room is like. He's not going to just, get into cruise control when he becomes world champion. No, he's going to up the ante. He's going to try to make everything even bigger and better. So I'm excited about it in that sense.
Yeah. If this main event this week was kind of a hint at what his reign is going to look at, give me more of it. That match was amazing. We'll get into that in a minute, but boy, that was incredible. Got one from Jennifer. I know it's been a bit, but life is crazy. Love you, gents. Thanks for always being a bright spot in the week. Appreciate you, Jen, as always.
Thank you, Jennifer. Life is crazy.
Yeah. Got another one from Black Phoenix Brand. He says, and I'll end on a question inspired by what culture? Phil and Reg, what WrestleMania moment in history drove you the most insane? Mine will probably forever be Triple H beating Booker T, particularly the way he did. Yeah.
Got it.
So awful.
That one just hurt.
So awful.
Yeah.
WrestleMania moment that drove me. I feel like
my original one is 9. Hogan coming out to beat Bret Hart loses to Yokozuna, then Hogan beats Yokozuna. Whoo, that started my hatred for bald and yellow Terry, and it hasn't stopped.
I feel like this is kind of an underrated one because people were just like, "Hey, this is great for that kid." But I think Braun and that kid winning the tag titles really annoyed me because it was just like, "Yo, you guys can't just book tag team wrestling. You don't have to make tag team wrestling a joke. Like, just book good tag team wrestling. Like, what are we doing?" Like
that was the most frustrating thing about it. It's like it's not about like this kid getting a cool moment. It's about making tag team wrestling look dumb.
Yeah, I hated it. And the second Braun was thrown into that tournament and thrown into the multi-man match, they kept doing this thing at one point where we don't have anything for Braun, so hey, let's just make him a tag champion and make all the other tag teams look like idiots. And I
I hated
hated it.
it.
I hated everything about it. But
He
yeah,
would
I
just come out,
guess
have handicap matches, and beat all the teams. I'm like, this is dumb.
hated it. I mean, cool moment for Nicholas, but boy, did I hate what that meant for tag team wrestling, man.
Cool moment for Nicholas is a wild thing to say about a WrestleMania moment. People are like, who the fuck is Nicholas? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, people, yeah, him coming out and winning that belt with a kid. It's just
Who
like,
did they beat?
uh,
Somebody good. Somebody
wasn't
that
it the
didn't
bar?
deserve it. I was like, yeah, it was somebody that was talented, I think it was the bar.
I'm pretty sure it was the bar.
There's been some
Yeah.
wild moments the last couple of years because now I'm thinking about Shane McMahon. Because somebody was like yesterday was like, "Who's gonna have that Shane McMahon moment from last year?" I was like, "Hopefully nobody does," because that was awful.
But yeah, but even saying that, like how great the bar were as a tag team, and that's how you
Yeah,
end their run is with this win with Braun
Nicholas,
Strowman and a kid beating them.
shameful.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. But I mean, I'm sure that's one of those moments where it's like, can't you just accept it was a fun moment? That kid had a great moment. I just, as a fan of tag team wrestling, I wasn't happy with it.
Exactly. When like
Uh,
FTR and all these great tag teams were back there at the time.
yeah. From Hello Model 237 says, "Hi guys, just sending a bit of change for Philly. I'll be flying from Sydney for my first ever Mania week. Hopefully, I'll
Oh
see y'all
shit.
around. Also, finish Becky's book. Like Mox's, I cannot recommend the audio version enough. Thanks for the last. Man, that's awesome. Coming all the way from Australia to see WrestleMania. I think we kind of at sometimes just downplay how big WrestleMania is and how
Yeah.
big it is for fans. The fact that people come from all the way across the globe to come here,
Mhm.
it's a crazy thing to think about.
Yeah, it's something that I kind of I don't even really think about it. Like I've been on the grind this last week, like making money and trying to get there. And like some people have worked their whole lives, and this is going to be their first time coming to America, coming to a WWE show, coming to WrestleMania, and it's like it's cool. That's legit. What's the best thing about it is like if you ever go to a Mania weekend, you just see people walking around with like wide eyes, just excited about everything.
Yeah.
It's like it's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, man, I think that that's the cool thing about WrestleMania. Regardless if you're a WWE fan, there's just something magical about WrestleMania season.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it is. I also think of like how long it took me to actually get to a WrestleMania. Like,
it's pretty
it just took
insane.
this long to actually go and see a WrestleMania in person. Uh, see, we got a few more Humper chats. Uh, but here I'll hold off on those last three.
Mhm.
Um, we got a bunch of moments this week for black wrestlers that I was really excited for. I did not expect Trick and Mello to be announced as the main event
Right?
for NXT Stand and Deliver. I think that's really cool for both of those guys.
Mhm.
I think it says a lot for the story that they've built. And when you just think about how long their time together and their current feud has spanned this era of NXT, it's been almost 3 years because they
Yeah.
started at the debut of NXT 2.0. So I think this is just really great for them. I think it's great that they're getting that spot. They're the first two black men to headline an NXT pay per view,
Mhm.
which is a cool moment for them. That's a
I love
historic
it.
moment.
Yeah.
But just on the storytelling side, it's just cool to see something that we know NXT is something that's built like around these storylines and these frenemies for like years. Like to see them do that with two black characters is really cool because we haven't seen it. Uh, I mean,
Yeah.
we know like of like the Kevin Owens and the Sammy stuff. We
Mhm.
know like the Ciampa and Gargano stuff, but this is the first time they've done it with two black superstars, and that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I love everything about this. I love that we got to see their whole arc. We got to see Trick grow before our eyes and become
Yeah,
super duper over, one of the most over guys in the whole NXT. We got to see Mello kind of play out, going from champion to this to that, selling Trick out. The whole arc has just been on display. This getting the headline over the NXT title match too, Phil, I think is a big deal for two young black talented guys to get that. It's so awesome, man. I was so stoked to hear that. And it's crazy because we've been talking about like Wale Mania, like we've been in Wale Mania with Mello before he really got kicked into high gear. And we just the energy that he presented then, I knew that he was gonna like achieve something really dope. But the things that he's already done without even touching the main roster, I think are awesome. And this is another one to add to his resume.
Yeah, which makes me think there's so many things that for the span of our podcast, we've been able to say that we've watched this. And I think Swerve getting to the point where he can win a championship is one of them.
Nuts.
But Melo's time with NXT is another one. Like I remember going to For the Culture and Melo was there and he
Yep.
was there with the North American title. And I was like, bro,
Yep.
I'm ready to see you win that big belt. And the next year at WrestleMania weekend, he won the big belt. And now he's main eventing again, brought his brother with him. And his main event with Trick, not treating him like a brother at the moment, but just the fact that they're doing it together is really, really cool, man.
So dope, man. And shout out to Trick. Like I said, we saw him come from being an unknown to being one of the most over guys ever. And he's really established himself. He's been in the gym. Like he earned this spot. And I know that they're going to destroy it.
Yeah, in his hometown. I think that was one of the cool things about the video package they did this week. That they put over how much it means for him to do this in Philadelphia. That's his hometown. He has history there.
Amazing.
So I think that's dope as well.
I love it.
Yeah, man. If you didn't watch that video package from NXT, man, it's go out of your way to watch it on YouTube. It's only like 9 minutes or so, but it's so cool. Like they built all this stuff around their story together. Carmelo is for some reason out in the rain, like the "You Got It Bad" video. Yeah, they did a lot of cool stuff with just like building around their friendship, building around like Melo's betrayal, and just like talking to people that also have had like famous like betrayals. They had Gargano on there, they had Ciampa on there, and I think that was cool having those guys be two guys that endorse this storyline moving forward. They had Cody on there. If you know your backstage stuff, one of the guys that helped Cody get ready to come back after the pec injury was Melo. So that was cool. Had Punk on there. I think it was really cool. I think the presentation of it is really, really cool, man.
Yeah, excited for that match. Excited for their moment. And Melo's supposed to be up there afterwards.
Coming up. He's moving up. And I think this is a good way to cap off his time with NXT and, continue to foster Trick as a guy moving forward. A lot of things to like about this. I'm not the biggest fan of NXT, but I think what those two guys have been doing down there has been fantastic. Really excited to see that. We also got the Ridge Holland retirement speech this week. I saw someone say that Mark Henry has forever ruined retirement speeches because nobody believes anybody when they do them anymore.
It's true.
And so I don't know what to make of this. I still feel like this is part of the storyline stuff they're doing with Ridge that he's been doing with NXT. So I don't buy for a second that he's actually retiring. I don't know how I feel about trying to do a retirement angle to get heat on this. I don't know if that really works for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like considering the real kind of things that have happened alongside of things that Ridge Holland's done, I don't know if I really want to play along. I really want to play with that. Like Big E is still out. Like I know it's an accident. Yeah. It's all this stuff, but like that's a real thing, and I don't know if we want to turn it into an angle.
Yeah.
But I understand. It's really kind of wrestling 101. You know what I mean? Like people have like broken necks or legs before, and then being like, "I'm the leg breaker." So like, I get it.
I thought he did a good job of, trying to get us to buy into the promo. I thought his acting and his delivery in the promo was good, but I just don't buy that he's done with wrestling. I don't buy it. But I think that they've done a good job of moving on with Pete Dunne and having him do something new with Tyler Bate. I still don't know how I feel about the name New Catch Republic, but I'm glad that they moved on with them. I'm very excited to see Sheamus eventually come back and see whatever he does because, man, that guy was killing it before he went away. But yeah,
one of the best matches of last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, bro, when they announced the Slammies and they had the match of the year and that WrestleMania match wasn't on there, I was like, how?
I don't get it.
How is that?
Yeah,
How is that match not on there?
that was one of the best matches of the whole year last year. I didn't really understand it. Like they killed it. Yeah, I'm interested to see what he does. Like, there's been some contracts talk. I'm like, if Sheamus went somewhere else, shit might kind of hit.
Wouldn't be mad at it. But yeah, shout out to Trick and Mello. That was absolutely the most exciting thing coming out of NXT stuff this week.
Definitely.
Getting to see those guys main event, possibly while we're doing our show. But yeah, I'm gonna at least try to check out their match. Hopefully, this is kind of the crowning moment for Roxanne as well.
Right.
I haven't quite understood the booking with Roxanne, but get that title back on her, man. Get off to the races, man. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. It's time. Who's in the title match? Who's Dragunov racing?
Isn't it Tony D'Angelo?
I was like, why don't I know about this or care? Oh, because his opponent's Tony D'Angelo.
I'm pretty sure it's Tony D.
I think it is. No, I think you're right.
Let me double check that.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. We've also got Baron and Braun Breaker taking on the tournament winners for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Roxanne match we just said. Obafemi's taking on Dijak and Josh Briggs.
Okay. That could be fun. A fun opener.
Yeah. And then when you look at it that way, it's like, yeah, Ilya versus Tony D don't really sound like a main event. In comparison to Trick versus Mello, like, yeah, that does feel like a bigger match.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have made sense to see Mello and them had this heated thing. And then, oh, here comes Tony D'Angelo. But, I get it. And it makes sense, especially with kind of how you talked about the video package and the history of how they do these type of matches with betrayals and frenemies. Like, they usually main event with this, even if there's no championships involved.
Yeah, this has been kind of a hallmark of NXT, like the whole "you were my brother, you betrayed me." Like we've seen the storyline or like this dynamic so many times in NXT. So yeah, it's not surprising that they're making that the biggest story going into this year's Stand and Deliver.
Him and Triple H like that shit.
I mean, they famously did this on the main roster. Like that's one of the storylines that put Shawn Michaels into a different stratosphere, turning on Marty. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, might as well keep riding it out forever. Huh? He's like, this is all I know, you guys. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Pretty big wrestling trope, so not surprised. Got some more stuff from Dynamite we're gonna get into, of course. Jade's debut on SmackDown. Crazy to say this, her debut. She's been there for a while, so I don't know if it's really a debut, but you know what I mean. But before we get into that, gonna hit a word from our sponsor.
Yes. What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, here to tell you about BetOnline AG. The highest credit card acceptance industry-wide, 25-plus year track record, safe and secure online environments, payouts in minutes, the fastest in the industry. You can bet big with their high limits and rebet functionality, the earliest line, so odds open before the competition, the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit, and we're talking on everything. Wrestling, they got it. MMA, they got it. Boxing, they got it. But hey, you know what? I know we're Fightful. We don't just live for that. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, racing, esports, anything you can think of. Not only that, this is exclusively where Fightful gets our lines from. If you hear us talking about lines on a prediction show or on our post shows, it is always from BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can. BetOnline.ag.
These people bet responsibly, only bet what you can. But betonline.ag for all of your sports betting needs. AEW Dynamite, I feel like, has still been on a hot streak. I'm sure people are going to talk up the number stuff from online. But in terms of like the actual show, I feel like the show has been very good for the last few weeks. Opened with a really, really hot match. Ospreay taking on Katsuyori Shibata. Yeah.
Heater.
It's still wild to think that Shibata's wrestling today, right. Or that he would get in there with a hard-hitting guy like Ospreay at this point. If you would have told me in 2017 that this guy was going to be able to come back and wrestle, but also that Osprey was going to turn into this big heavyweight, hard hitting machine that dumps people on their necks, I would have been like, "What are you talking about?"
Like Shibata's gonna take a Tiger Driver 91 on his neck. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that was gonna happen. And we saw it on Monday. I don't know, on Wednesday.
This was definitely the safest looking Tiger Driver we've seen Osprey do so far,
Definitely.
thankfully. But it still hit the same. I was trying to catch to see if he was going to do the hidden blade, and he did.
He did it.
A little scared at first, but he did
Oh,
it. But yeah, this match was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very, very good way to open the show. Osprey continues to be, man, just one of the highlights of Dynamite every week.
Different.
Man, he's just been so fun to watch, bro. Just the matches are good, the segments are good. Man, we might have to stop saying that Shibata's limited, man. Shibata's looking like he is not Mr. Step. This guy looks tremendous.
Yeah, this match was really awesome. I love the energy that Osprey has been bringing to the product. It's just different. Like he feels like a top guy. He feels like the guy. And starting the show this week, this way with Shibata, they have history, and then them just going out there and doing exactly the match we thought they would do. Shibata was on 100%, walking through Will Ospreay strikes, even though Will Ospreay strikes hard as hell. Ospreay's trying to break Shibata's neck, even though we're all scared for all of this. Just a really great match. But I think just them putting all their stock into Will Ospreay, seemingly what it feels like, and the fans just being so accepting of him and wanting him to be that top guy, I think is awesome, man. It's really dope.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought the women killed it in their 4-way match as well. I thought when you saw the lineup for that, like, this is gonna be pretty good. Really good match. Kudos to all of those women involved.
The crowd made that one really good too. How they were just like into every spot that the women were doing. I was like, yeah, this is dope.
Yeah, I thought the match was good. They continue to plant seeds with the Chris Statlander and Willow stuff. Willow, of course, won here, so Willow will go on to face Julia Hart at Dynasty for the TBS title. There was at one point when Willow hit Sky with the big Death Valley driver on the apron, and she was running around high-fiving people in the crowd.
I thought that shit was so funny. When Willow was running around the ring high-fiving everybody, I didn't think anybody else noticed. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so after she hit this big spot, running around high-fiving people in the crowd, and meanwhile, Statlander is in the ring getting beat. Like, this is where the numbers game would have helped to have them both together. And instead, she rolls back in the ring after a near fall, gets the big win, and she will move on to face Julia for the TBS title. Seeds are planted. I definitely feel at some point Statlander is going to turn on her, because
Statlander don't like this.
This has become Willow's kind of place in the division, where she's had a tag team partner or a friend that turns on her. This has happened twice now. Happened with Ruby Riott. It's happened also Ruby Soho. It happened with Ruby Soho, and it happened with Sky Blue. So I can see it happening again. And Stokely's just better as a heel manager. He just is. He's funny. He's entertaining. He was great on this week as well, but he's just better as a heel manager.
So much better. There's something about him and getting booed that just hits a lot different. Like, him being funny is great, but him as a heel manager is really where his bread and butter is. But yeah, great match for all these women. Getting to kind of have that going their balls to the wall type match after they just had that great street fight match was great.
Yeah, man, this has been a really good run for Willow and Statlander as characters. I think they've been having good matches together. They've had good moments. This doesn't feel like the usual, well, they were friends storyline where they had a few matches together and it's like, oh, well, they were best friends. Like, you can actually see all of the seeds that they're planting. You see all the story beats here. I think that this has been booked really well. So eventually, when it does happen, if they do split up, it's going to feel like a bigger deal.
Exactly. Yeah, and the story of Stokely kind of being the influence on Stat and the history that they have. This is all really good. And I think that Stat's going to be really great as a heel too. I think they're going to need more strong top women heels in the women's division, and Stat's going to be really great there.
Yeah, I think with Mercedes there, you're going to need wore hot heels for her to work. If she does not turn heel eventually, you're gonna need heels for her to wrestle. So that makes sense. How are you feeling about Mercedes over the last 3 weeks not wrestling? Because it doesn't bother me. I think it's pretty clear she's not cleared to wrestle.
Yeah.
But I do think we got to get to it soon. I think we got to get to the wrestling because I don't think like the commentary and the promo stuff is really her strong point. She's not terrible at it, but the thing that she's great at, her greatest strength is the wrestling. So people just want to get to it.
That's the issue that I have, Phil. It's like she's not the worst promo. She's not bad at commentary. It's just like that's not what I come to Mercedes for, though. I come to her to see her in the ring, to see that heart, to see her do what she does best. That's really when people are going to start notice her. People are going to start to, I don't want to say bored, but they're going to start to be like, what's next? We're going to need to get to some graps real soon. If we're going to continuously just have her talk every week, that's not the reason why she's here. That's not what this is. So it's getting a little bit frustrating, but I think it's just because she's not cleared. Like if she was cleared, she'd probably be in the ring or something would be happening, you know?
Yeah, I think she would have wrestled by now if she was cleared. And when she spoke about like how severe the injury was and how they were saying it could have been career ending, it kind of makes sense that it's taken this long for her to get cleared. Exactly. I've also seen people say, well, why did they let her do some physicality if she's not cleared? But there's levels to being cleared. You could be cleared to do that spot, but not cleared to have an actual match.
Exactly.
But she's getting these fits off. She's coming out and she still looks fantastic. Still feels
looks
like
great.
A massive star. But yeah, I'm ready to get to the matches. Like, especially during commentary, and you can see that she scouted some of the wrestlers. Like when Sky Blue went in, and you can see she called the Cold Blue spot before she did it. I was like, oh no, she's been like picking out the wrestlers she wants to wrestle. I'm like, man, let's get to it then, man.
Yeah, as soon as the matches start to happen, everything's gonna change. We're all gonna be like, oh shit, this is great because she has so many opponents to go against. But I understand because how she came in and what they got to do in the stories they got to tell and what they've already been building towards. Kind of having her just be a character alongside the women's division and help with what's going on there makes a lot more sense. But we're ready for it.
Yeah, I think we all want to see her wrestle at this point. The tag matches were great. I mean, one was of course better than the other. We got the Young Bucks taking on Nicholas and Matthew Jackson taking on the Private Party for in the tag team tournament. I thought this match was great. I thought it played off their history very well. Their history from the first tag team tournament where they faced off. Both of these teams kind of acted heelish in this match, which I was surprised by. But I thought it was good. I thought it was good for Private Party's characters. I thought it was a good, just all around tag match. It was one of those things where I was like, all right, man, get back to it, man. AEW used to be the place for tag team wrestling. Yeah. So I just want to see more and more of this. And that was what I was excited about coming into this tournament. Some of the matches haven't hit as much as I wanted to, but this was a very good match.
Yeah, I think coming into this and what we kind of got with the Continental Classic, I was expecting something a little bit broader, a little bit more, what that was. And this is kind of more story driven. This is kind of like they're building towards something specifically with the EVPs. I feel like Nicholas and Mac Jackson. So it makes sense. I like this match a lot. I love the callbacks to their previous encounters. The Bucks kind of being like, they beat us before. We're not going to let it happen again. This is our championship. This is our destiny. All that really good stuff. And I just think they worked well together as two tag teams. And why the Young Bucks are like, we brought these guys in, and you can see that chemistry that they have together.
Yeah, they had really good chemistry. I thought Private Party looked good here. They didn't get the win, but I thought they came away looking very good. They hit the gin and juice at one point and then went into the more bang for your bucks. I thought that was fire. Really good near fall. I thought this was a great match all around. The Best Friends Kingdom match wasn't as good. I thought it was still a good match, but I came away from it feeling like, all right, this is kind of why I didn't want the Kingdom in the tournament, because they're the ROH tag team champions and they're not really treated like the ROH tag team champions. Why are they in the tournament and then they lose straight away to a team that's not even a team? It just...
Yes, Phil, exactly. Frustration. When this match is happening, I'm like, why are the ROH tag team champions here and why is this going on? I know that This was a Rampage match. They should have put this match on Rampage. No disrespect to any of these people here, but that's just kind of what it represented. So when they had it on Dynamite, I was like, okay, that's an interesting story. But I see what they're trying, the story that they're trying to tell with the best friends being in this tournament. So I'm not completely mad at it. It just felt a little bit out of place.
Yeah, I just think it further makes the kingdom look like an afterthought in a lot of ways. And I think that that's another issue with the Undisputed Kingdom stuff is that, yeah, 3 of those guys are holding belts, but they're not really
it
doing
matter?
anything with the tag titles to make you care about it. Like,
Right.
you should feel like the team that are champions coming into this tournament that they're favorites. At no point
Yes.
did anybody feel like they're gonna win this tournament.
Not for 1 second, Phil. They were when they announced the brackets, nobody was like, the Kingdom might get this. We were all just like, oh, the Kingdom are probably going to lose in their first match. And that's exactly what happened here. But yeah, story tells you if you're the tag team champions, you should have the upper hand on all these other tag teams because you beat up some tag teams already. But they did not tell that story at all. And it's just kind of the frustrating thing of those ROH tag team championships in general. Well, just ROH championships in general, because I was like, wait, who are the ROH Trio Championships? Like, I had to think about it hard this week, and I'm like, oh, it's Bullet Club Gold. You win the belts on ROH, and then you're never on ROH again. I'm like, I don't really understand
Yeah,
the strategy
I
here.
just, yeah, I just don't like what they're doing with those tag belts. I don't think that those belts have ever really recovered since the Max and Cole run because I also get part of the story is that they're not supposed to look like a dangerous tag team because consider how they won the belts, right? But at the same time, they're a tag team and they're champions. So
Yeah.
what are we doing with them? Like you should be doing something to make this run feel like something and don't feel like anything.
They could have just put another tag team in there. I don't understand why they did this. It doesn't make sense. And like they haven't announced them for the Ring of Honor show either that we've been
No,
talking about.
they
So like,
they
what
don't
are y'all
have a
doing?
match for they don't have a match for Supercard of Honor, which is more telling as well. I just don't like how they're booking them as champions, and they're a good tag team. That's what's so crazy about it. Like
That's what's the worst part about it, Phil, is because coming into this for the last pretty much ever since I've been covering Honor Club, I'm like, they need the Kingdom to win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships because they represent ROH so much. Anytime they would do a promo, they would be like, we're the best team here. We should be the champions. We're all this. And then they win the belts and we never see them again. It's like, what
yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but I would really like to see them on ROH more. I like to see them defending those belts more. Just do cool things with those belts, bro. Like what's going on, man?
And
But
it'll add some stakes to these ROH tapings. If it's
yeah,
late after a show and you're giving me an ROH tag title match, that's probably gives me more incentive to stay.
yeah. But yeah, the tag team tournament is chugging along. We're getting FTR versus infantry tonight on Collision. Yeah,
FTR do be there versus the industry though. That is real. That is a fact.
I feel like it's pretty obvious that FTR is winning. I at one point was like, hey, maybe this is not going to be as predictable, but no, it pretty much feels like we're probably getting EVPs versus FTR at Dynasty.
And what I saw the infantry's match last week, I was like, that's not a good sign for what they're probably going to do against FTR. And so, yeah, but it feels like, how do you feel about that? It feels like a predictable thing, and we're probably going to get FTR versus the Bucks.
I feel like it hurts what I thought this tag team tournament was going to be.
Same.
Because I do think that it's a good reset for the tag division, but I was hoping that this was going to do what the Continental Classic did and just give us fire matches and show people again why this tag division is the best in the world. And it just hasn't done that so far.
We don't have like a Daniel Garcia type story in this. We don't have like
Yeah.
there's not like overarching other stories that are being told. It's like we're telling this Young Buck story, and I like it a lot, especially Okada edition. But I just thought it was going to be a little bit more meat on the bones.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, some of the matches we've got so far I've enjoyed, but it's just not as good as I hoped it would be. But yeah, I mean, if this is just to get us back to FDR, putting the belts back on Matt and Nick, I'm fine with that as well because I think they're going to kill it as champions. I think that's a good reset for the division. They need kind of somebody to, herald the division back into this new era because the belts is just kind of afloat at this point.
This is AEW, guys. We're here because of those belts. That's the good thing. I think coming off the backs of it, if the Young Bucks or the FTR win this tournament and they get into defending these belts on a consistent basis, we could be right back to it because there's so many great tag teams. We just got to get to it. I just, like you did, thought this tournament was going to be a little bit more. Like, I thought there's going to be more teams. I thought there's going to be more emphasis on it. It seems like it's just kind of flying by, and I don't know if that's on purpose or what's the reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I just hoped it would be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought for the most part the matches we got on Wednesday night were great. I thought the stuff that we've progressed for the pay-per-view has been good. Still not sure what we're doing with this lion hook stuff.
You ain't got your lion hook shirt?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Nah.
He said it's there. What? No, seriously, Phil, what is this? Why? What was that thing this week? Last week, Jericho was like, "Hey, I have to talk to you, Hook. Got a proposition for you." And then this week, he was like, "I could give you advice," and I was like, "I don't."
And he's just standing there with his fists up, waiting for the fist bump, and it's just like, oh god,
what's happening here, man?
Yeah, I
just keep like nobody wants this. I don't want you to manage Hook. I don't want any of this. I don't want it.
I keep wanting Hook to just say, "Bro, leave me alone." Bro, leave me alone, dog. I got a dad. I got a mentor. Leave me alone, man.
Dude, Tad's my dad. I'll be fine. I don't need your advice. But yeah, he's gonna. Why did they make that shirt? I don't know. Like, are they a tag team or what's going on here?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Pile driver finisher. It absolutely felt like the Steve Buscemi meme. Hey guys, what's going on with the backwards hat? It definitely did feel like that. Like, bro, what is this?
You gonna leave me? You gonna leave me hanging? Yeah,
come
dude.
On, bro. Yeah, just not for me. I'm hoping it picks up, but not for me.
Hiatus, Chris Jericho. Just take a break. 2 months, 3 months. Come back. Everybody will love you again.
It's okay. It's okay to, It's okay to, take a break sometimes, man.
We got spots. A lot of people are filling the spots now. Like back when AEW first debuted, Jericho was like he represented something like sponsors, people. That face of that brand was a lot. But now it's way different. Like we got Ospreay, we got Bryan Danielson, we got Swerve, we got Okada, we got a lot. Like it'll be okay if you just like take a little back seat. It's different. And that doesn't mean you suck. That doesn't mean anything. You're still Chris Jericho. You're still going to be that guy. But,
Hey, man. He's just sitting there talking about Kendrick. Hey, man. Took a little trip down to the garden. Apple juice falling from my lips. Took a little sip.
Oh, no.
It's all right, man. It's cool to take a little trip sometime,
honestly,
man. Took a little trip. It's
Phil,
cool.
He got a band. He got a cruise. He got all kind of stuff he could be doing, but he still be trying to do both. Like, you go do those stuff and just do those stuff. That's it.
Hey,
like, I'm going to wrestle on Dynamite on Wednesday, too. No, just go on tour and do that. I think he still represents something. Like I said, if he takes a hiatus and like we forget about him and comes back, like people will be excited about it. It's just overload at this point. Like, there hasn't been a moment that he's just taken a real break. Like he's been off for some weeks, but then he's right back,
Yeah, man. Bitches come and go. Money come and go. Love come and go. You can take a little trip. It's all right.
Yeah. Come on, Chris.
It's all right.
No more shirts. Yeah. And why does he always make shirts of his short-lived factions? He's like, he gotta get over the okay. Keep thinking
let me get one of these
like, yo, what is this?
You listen, man. He's got to get one of these little tag team names over, which turns into a shirt design. It's just, I just don't want it, bro. It's cool, man.
Keep it.
It's cool. But man, main event of this show was fantastic. Coming into this was what I was most excited about. Swerve versus Takeshita in the main event. They got a whole bunch of time. I like the story, so it didn't feel like, what's the story, guys? It's just matches. The story, of course, here is that these two guys have the best record coming into this year. Takeshita has wins over Kenny Omega under his belt, so he has a real case for why he should be number one contender. Meanwhile, Swerve has also only took one loss this year, and that just happened to be a championship match. They both have great records. They both have a lot of momentum coming out of 2023. And so, yeah, I thought this was a fantastic story. Every time Takeshita comes out with the mask and everything, I'm just like, they got the presentation right at this point. He's wrestling really well. Push this guy to the moon,
Push
man.
him.
This guy
Push him.
is just incredible. But man, this match was so good. Great counter wrestling, great near falls in this thing. Just big, stiff knee strikes that we know Takeshita for. Just fire all around.
Yeah, I love both of these guys kind of being like, we're in the main event. They had some video packages earlier in the show with Don Callis talking about Takeshita and Swerve talking about himself of like, yo, after I beat Takeshita, I'm coming for you, Samoa Joe. No more games. We're about to get down to it. And just kind of cementing Swerve as he's about to be a main eventer. He's about to be world champion. Like, this is dope. Takeshita has been on fire. Legit, he hasn't had a bad match in years at this point. Every time he does something, he has some intangible element that people just can't replicate. He can get sympathy as a heel. He just knows how to work. He just knows everything about being in the ring, and being in a position with Swerve, I thought he killed it. Swerve, I think he's gonna get more swaggier, more, more the way the Swerve that we know as a baby face, and being in these positions, just because you get a little wider thing to do when you're a baby face, because when a heel, you don't have to do a lot. You just, pick your points, pick your moments, and go in. But as a baby face, you get to do some more things that I think Swerve, when he really locks in and becomes that, people are gonna love him even more. That's why when people are like, oh, maybe his momentum's not enough, maybe this time isn't now, I'm like, no, when he becomes world champion, it's gonna be even more.
Yeah, I thought that this was really the telling thing because we saw some of it in the Continental Classic of him working kind of the babyface style matches when he worked other heels. But this is absolutely him as a good guy, and him doing the like Imperial spots, him selling the shoulder. I thought he did that tremendously. I thought when he got the big offensive spots in, pulled out that spinal tap again, got that really cool swerve stomp down onto the apron. That was cool. This is kind of uncharted territory for him there because we've seen him wrestle as a babyface. We saw it with the tag team stuff when he did it with Keith Lee, but this is kind of like the first as a singles wrestler with like a real push behind it.
Hey Phil, you know what I just thought of? I thought that Ain't Nobody was forever gone. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I thought we'd never hear a Swerve Ain't Nobody entrance ever again. I don't know if I think that possibly with him going babyface, I don't know if that's off the table anymore. Like, I used to be like, I don't think we'll ever top rope, catch a vibe, big pressure is it. But I'm like, with the way he's going, I could maybe see one epic Shaka Khan Ain't Nobody Swerve entrance one day in AEW.
Maybe. I do think that his current theme song is such a big part of his presentation now.
It represents a lot. You're right.
And so it would be hard to see them just like change it full term. Like, I don't see them like outright changing because
No.
I just noticed this week that he doesn't call it the JML driver anymore. He calls it the big pressure. I would love to see him pull out Ain't Nobody at some point. Maybe like Brian does it with Final Countdown. That would be cool. But at this point, like big pressure, like that's such a big part of his AEW character that I just couldn't see him not using it.
Part of the reason why he got over, like the dance and the song and Nana. It's so funny. Yesterday, Final Countdown came on in the grocery store, and then I thought about Chicago again, and I was like, damn, that shit was bro, what a fucking
amazing
moment, man. Holy shit. I'll cry right now. That shit was so good.
What a great night, man.
I will cry right now. But yeah, no, Swerve, he's on his way. Takeshita, Phil, they can't. That by the end of the year, Takeshita has to be a champ. He has to have something. Like,
he got to have something going with
doing this. He keeps executing so hard in every situation he's put in. Anything they put him in, like on the end of it, we're always like, damn, Takeshita killed it. Like, he executed. He's so good. Like, they have to do something. They can't bury him anymore. They haven't buried him, but they have to like showcase him. They can't keep bringing up the Kenny Omega thing and not do something about it.
Yeah, you gotta do something with him as a singles competitor. I was kind of out on the Don stuff at one point, but it's fine. Like I think
Yeah,
so far,
I
like
don't hate it at this point.
I think it was mostly just that Don was coming out and doing those long segments with Jericho, and then you had all those other guys lined up behind him. And it's like, okay, well, what are all of those guys doing? Like, what? Like,
What
if it's just Don and Takeshita, it's fine. But like
Yeah.
when you had like the entire stable and all of those guys were just kind of standing around while he monologued, I wasn't really into that.
Yeah, we don't need 20-minute Don promos where the family stands in the ring. Like if it's targeted, if he's talking about a reason, if he's helping out Takeshita or Hobbs or somebody, and it's
Yeah,
focused, very different.
yeah. I think that's really the main issue is that now it feels focused. It didn't feel as focused back then. Um, But yeah, man, this match was really good. We've officially made Swerve the #1 contender, so he will be facing Joe at AEW Dynasty in St. Louis. I think he's gonna win, man. I think
This
it's
is
his
it.
time.
I think this is it. We did it. St. Louis, Swerve. It's happening. And I don't think it like I said, I don't think it's the wrong time. I don't think anything. I think this is gonna hit very well. Dynasty, everything that it represents, I think is great. Samoa Joe has been so amazing in
Yeah,
his role as world champion. Like I've loved Samoa. I've been a Samoa Joe fan since 2002 at this point. Like I've never not liked Samoa Joe.
Final
There's been
boss.
some times when I've been kind of Samoa Joe hasn't been booked particularly well, or things have kind of happened that weren't Samoa Joe like. But ever since he came to AEW, ever since he became Ring of Honor World Champion, he has been amazing. And when he became AEW World Champion, he stepped into an even different stratosphere, man. He's just so good, even better than he was back then. I'm so happy that Swerve gets to have this match with him specifically to do this if he does end up winning the championship,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't get the chance to see most of Rampage. I saw like the beginning of it, but I thought it was a strong week for AEW. Of course, like the ratings and numbers discourse is always going to be the thing, but I just don't watch wrestling to get into debates about the business side of it. That's just not something I'm interested in doing.
And then everybody just thinks they know, like, oh, they dropped this many times in 4 years, and you don't know anything. Like they're still #1, they're still getting money, everything is still. I'm so tired of ratings talk. It doesn't like people that don't
It don't move
contribute
me.
to or against the ratings are commenting on like everybody that's talking about it. None of us even affect the ratings. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Good show. Exciting stuff though. We got a really good collision coming up tonight too. I think AEW's into high gear. Dynasty is going to be insane. I'm very jealous that I'm not going to be there. Let's get into a few super chats before we move forward. Use 99 says, I was happy for Willow wrestling on a team with La Catina in CMLL, but I had forgotten that Tessa Blanchard was also part of their trio team. Yeah, there's some things like Mexico and sometimes Japan. There's sometimes when things happen in America that we feel a type of way about that they don't care about. Tessa Blanchard is one of them. Sometimes you'll see Marty Squirrel. You'll see canceled wrestlers in Mexico or Puerto Rico sometimes, and it's because they don't abide by the same rules that we do.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that Tessa was on that card, but racism isn't a deal breaker for some people, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's some things we talked about this earlier. There's some things that's like hard no for me, and that's one of them. If I hear a video or something of you talking crazy, then we're good here. Alexander Fitzgerald said, I went to WrestleMania 27 weekend. Mania 27 was meh, but I was at the first. It was my first ROH show, and it was insane. Shelton and Charlie Haas versus Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards was great. It was worth going for the wrestling fans. That was my second WrestleMania. That ROH show was awesome. That Mania, I hated so much. What a bad WrestleMania. That was Atlanta, though, and Atlanta was awesome.
Great city to go to. I've never not had fun in Atlanta. Every time I've gone to Atlanta, I've had a great time.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever been to Atlanta, and I was like, oh, this is why everyone talks about Atlanta like this. Like, I felt like at home immediately when I got off the plane. I was like, oh, I could probably live in Atlanta, I think. Like, just the energy there, the people.
Yeah.
Really great place.
Dope food, like, yeah.
Everything. They got it all.
I don't understand the varsity hype, but
Mm-hmm.
it's what it is.
Is what it is. Steph the Writer says, none of the issues with Bianca, Naomi, Jade teaming matter. When I saw those 3 black women in the ring together, it made me emotional. Yeah, that's kind of where I landed on it. Feels like we talked about on this show about wanting Bianca to have a one-on-one match just because she's getting this great WrestleMania streak. But as soon as the 3 of them were back to back with the WrestleMania sign, I didn't care about nothing else. You could throw anything out there. I didn't care about nothing. I was like, this looks amazing. Whatever they're doing, I'm in. Give me a ticket. I'm strapped in. I'm first row.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah.
Will Chisholm says, how long will it take for HBK to let Roxanne do the I Lost My Smile promo? Didn't she already do that?
I feel like she's been kind of doing that version of herself for a while now. I guess she hasn't outright said I lost my smile, so.
Right, but she's been like in the ring, like didn't she like give up her championship or something? She's did that style of promo before. Van Twinblade says Shibata getting that bread. Everyone laughs. Thanks, man. Laurent Ford says the Mercedes discourse online is out of control, especially on YouTube. How do you feel about her rollout versus Ospreay and Okada's?
I think it's good. I when we talked about it last week, I think the thing that I continue to be impressed with it is that they're treating her like a big star, and not just treating her like a big star for the women's division. They're giving her the same treatment that somebody like Punk or these other big names that came in got. And I think that regardless if she's not wrestling or not, that gives me hope that they're going to get this right.
Yeah, if anything, I kind of think she's being presented better than the both of those 2 guys. The reception's a little bit different, but like they're laying it out for her. Like Phil said, they haven't laid out for any other woman before. I think that I love how she's being presented. It's just that, like we talked about, there's no wrestling, so it feels a little bit different. But I think everything so far is like they know that they got a big star. They're presenting her like a big star, and it's coming off that way.
Yeah, I mean, those other 2 people didn't get a special dedicated to them debuting. They just debuted on a regular episode of Dynamite. She got an entire special in her hometown.
Mm-hmm. Okada was just the week before, like, Okada's going to be here, and we were all like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hey man, this guy's been here before. You remember Kazuchika, right?
Yeah, we're like, yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. Like the Bucks were like, "Yeah, Kazuchika, right? You guys remember him, right? Money rains down. He comes down and hits people hard with the lariat. Like that guy.
It worked. That's all of our super chats. Thanks, y'all.
We got a handful of humper chats here. Appreciate you guys as always. We've got some for Tony P. He says about how AEW's been handling Mercedes. It feels like a lot of people want something immediate with her, and feel like her debut has been a bust these 3 weeks. I feel like they're doing a slow burn story with her, something we've been asking for as a women. Yeah, I agree. I think that they're setting up things with her, and so I'm not. If she was just showing up and just kind of doing like the Queen wave and then going backstage, then I'd be like, "What is this?" But they're clearly setting up storylines with her.
Yeah, I feel like every situation that she's been in is gonna play into something later. It's not like she just out there like, "Oh, Mercedes is here. What do you think?" Like every moment that she's been presented in is gonna represent some kind of story in the future.
Yeah, I agree. It goes on to say, people have been saying these 3 weeks in Mercedes have been a bust so far or expected more. They want something immediate with her. They want something immediate with her now, even though it is clear they are doing a slow burn story. Wait a minute, why does it sound like the same? Okay. It feels like the same humper chat, but it's not. That's why I keep getting confused. Like, wait, feels like I read this. Anyway, even though it's clear they are doing a slow burn story with her, aka something we wanted in the women's division. Curious about your take on if she should have been an immediate foe already. I do get wanting to see her do more, and I am curious about where this slow burn is going. Honestly, yeah, I think we talked about it. I just think that she's clearly not cleared to wrestle, but in the meantime, they're setting up storylines for her immediate feuds.
Like she could get into it with Willow, Stat, Sky, Julia, like all those people that she's interacting with is gonna lead to something.
Yeah, Riho said on the stream as well that, she was excited when she met her and she wants a match eventually. Like there are a bunch of people already on the roster that said they want the Mercedes match.
Right.
So Once she's cleared, it's just off to the races. It's just getting there at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure some people are gonna do well, why did they debut her if they knew she wasn't cleared? I mean, well, you got the chance to do that in her hometown. You got that date circled. I'm not mad at it. I think if she wasn't gonna be cleared for like another 3 or 4 months, I would be a little bit more concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's the case. I have to assume she's close.
And you have to keep her on TV, right? Like you couldn't have just debuted her and then been like, "Oh, we'll see her in 6 weeks or something," right? You got to keep her relevant and keep her on these programs.
Yeah, because we've kind of had a similar thing going on with Jade, where she's been there since last year,
Mm-hmm.
but now we're doing like the official debut this year.
Yeah.
So I don't, as long as it doesn't take her 7 months to wrestle, bro.
That's it.
If we're 7 months from now, we're still waiting on the match, then yeah, I'll have a problem with it. But for now, I can be patient. From Don Ramondo, he says, Phil and Reg, do you guys think we get a video package using Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares for Cody and Roman, kind of like the video package for WrestleMania 17, Rock and Austin, using My Way by Limp Bizkit? Thanks. I think that would be dope if they did it. I'm not sure if we will, though.
I feel like we're going to get one for one of those matches with how they're promoting Meek, or he's going to perform or something, but I don't know if it'll be for the Roman and Cody match.
Yeah, Downstate keeps teasing this remix to Kingdom. I don't know what that means. Maybe they're going to have like a new version for him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I can see that.
Could always
Speaking
just
of
bring
your boy AJ said he's about to possibly have a new theme too.
I feel like he kind of need one as a heel. I don't know. Is he going to bring back one of his old themes? Is he doing like a remix of his current theme?
It's going to be weird seeing him with a different theme, whatever it is. You know?
Yeah. He's
had They Don't Want None this whole time, and then You Were a Lion is a good one too.
Listen, man. They're not going to do it because they're not going to acknowledge the New Japan stuff. But bruh, if we're sitting in Lincoln Financial Field and all I hear is bro,
probably won't.
I'm out of here, bro. That is one of my favorite AJ themes. His New Japan theme is so fire to me. If he came out to that theme, man,
you're about to get a not slapping ass Def Rebel remix of what you're about to get.
We probably are, but bro, if we got that AJ Bullet Club theme, man. Oh my god. But he doesn't have any bad themes. All of his theme songs are bangers.
Right. Yeah, they all fit him too. So I mean, I'm sure this new one will be dope too. The Def Rebel thing came in my head again. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Oh man. I've now got myself excited for this New Japan theme that I'm not gonna get. But oh man, I would be out of here if we
definitely not getting that. Definitely not getting that.
From Nelson Muntz, he says, "See, I told you, CM Punk is fake as hell. It wasn't a coincidence. Corny fans only showed up at the Punk Collision shows. I guess I've been to AEW shows and seen people with the Cornette signs and the Cornette shirts. I've seen them at Dynamite. I've seen them at Collision. I've seen them at pay-per-views. I don't know.
They all have a look. I'm kidding, you guys. I don't know. They don't have a look.
I don't know. From Tyrone Kid, who says, "Hey Reg and Phil, I know I'm late to the party in regards to the Jade and WWE. Since we got the big three representing us at WrestleMania, who does Bianca and Naomi represent? Since Jade is definitely Kendrick. Also thoughts on if Caitlyn should take the $5 million to be in the big three.
Jade is not definitely Kendrick though.
No, I don't think so either. No, the Caitlyn thing is interesting. I get what Ice Cube is trying to do, but I think what Caitlyn would represent for the WNBA, I think would be crazy for her to not go there.
Yeah, she would just get. It seems like it'd be way more lucrative to go to the WNBA. Like,
yeah, I think long term,
but like, what about like TV deals, endorsements? Like, nobody.
Yeah,
I fucks with the big three, but they're not looking out for them like that.
Yeah, I think long term it's going to be more lucrative to go to the WNBA. If you want just like this quick big check, then yeah, go to Big Three and make that $5 million. But No, I think it would be way more important for her to go to the WNBA. We're talking about like the most popular women's basketball player we've seen in a long time. And you're talking about not going to the pros, going to Big Three. I just don't see
Yeah,
that
come on,
happening.
Ice Cube, you tripping?
I see why he's trying to lock her in. That
Totally.
makes sense.
Yeah.
To throw the money at her, but nah.
I would try too, but like, let's be real, dude.
Nah, this the Big Three.
Do they even
analogy,
have a deal? What channel do you watch them on?
I don't know. I've never actually watched a Big Three game, so
See?
I don't know. I saw people that were trying to make Ice Cube look nasty out of this, which I don't
Why
know.
didn't they do that for a black woman? I'm like, all right, guys, let's relax.
Yeah, Big Three. Who out of these? I don't know if I would say Jade is Kendrick.
Mm-mm.
I think in terms of the person linked to them, that is just basically like, nah, y'all can say our one A and 1B. I am me. I'm Big Me. That's definitely something Jade would say. But in
Yeah.
terms of like the ability and like the career, I wouldn't say she's Kendrick.
No. Who is she then? Who's Cole?
I don't know if that's a
Bianca has to be Drake then, right? Because she's got the most accolades.
I don't know if that's a good analogy for any of those women, honestly.
Right,
because
it's hard.
it's hard to put them in the slots for three, because I think if any of them is Kendrick, when you say Kendrick has has certified classics, Bianca has classic moments at WrestleMania.
Bianca
So
has
she would probably
ones.
be the Kendrick. But
Mhm.
even then, you're gonna say Naomi's Cole? Like, I don't know about that.
Maybe that one might be the most. That one might make the most sense for me, because like could be the one, but still they keep for some reason not giving it up. But when that person gets the time to shine, aka when Naomi went to TNA, she fucking cooked. But she still wants to try to be the number one rapper by going back to WWE. And that's the kind of how I feel like Cole could be in his own lane, being just Cole, but he still wants to try to compete as being in that big three when he has his own lane.
So then you're gonna say Jay Drake?
See,
that's why I'm like, I don't know. This Big Three is kind of hard to fit in this, but I guess yeah.
Because I can't say Jade is Drake. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Autistic Weirdo, you are capping. There are absolutely banger Jade matches. The Statlander match is a banger. What are we talking about, bro? Her last match with the company is a banger. What do we mean? Like, yeah, no, she's had bangers. She had great matches with Willow. Bro, that Sky Blue match is underrated. Somebody just put that finish on the timeline recently where she flipped her up and did the pop up into the Jaded. No, she's had banger matches, bro.
Come on, there's a reason she has all this fanfare. It's not because of just how she looks. Like those matches were doing something. They're producing something. She's where she is for a reason.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I would say Drake just yet, but she's had banger matches.
No, I don't think anybody could be compared to Drake. That's the issue.
It's hard, man. It's hard. If you had Mercedes in this conversation, then you can have a more clear cut who is Drake and Kendrick talked in there than that. Right. But because Mercedes,
I almost have to have that talk with like the horsewomen. I think
that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
More than the big three, the new big three.
Yeah. I think that is all of our Humper Chats for now.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Finally, Jade Cargill has picked a brand. We got on this podcast and I commiserated about why are we still doing this? She hasn't picked a brand yet. What's going on? Like, just make a decision. Get her on TV. Put her in some matches. What are we doing? We finally got a resolution to this. She signed with SmackDown last night. Buddy, that entrance looked incredible. The presentation of it, the lighting, her coming out, they did the big silhouette with her flexing, looked incredible. She came out with just looked amazing. Outfit looked amazing. Signed, and that was kind of enough for us. I was just like, oh, okay, she's doing some more on the show. Cool.
Yeah, hey, I was nervous. The whole entrance happens. She looks amazing. She has on this outfit. She looks tall, strong, beautiful, buff like a superhero. And then Nick Aldis is like, "Oh, she signed to SmackDown." And she's like, "All right, I'm coming for all you guys, but none of y'all are Jade." And I was like, "Dude, that's it? Like, that's all we're gonna get until the end of the show or something happens."
Yeah, this was kind of a nondescript episode of SmackDown. If you were hoping after Raw you were going to get like another like banger show that got you excited for WrestleMania, this wasn't exactly that. We got some announcements. We got the LWO Legato stuff, which I don't understand why they didn't just do a faction versus faction match. Why are we doing a tag match?
First, they tricked me because I thought it was going to be Andrade being Ray's partner. And then they were like, "Oh, it's Dragon Lee." And I was like, I already thought Dragon Lee was in LWO. And then they just do the tag match. I'm like, why didn't you do like a 4-on-4 match? Like, that seems like
so
even the setup with them in the ring looked like that's what they were going to do.
You have all the factions lined up, and then you get a representative from both factions. And then they recruited somebody that was not in the faction until last night to be their tag partner. So you've got these big factions there, and nobody from the factions are their tag team. You're just doing this tag match out of nowhere as a way to do more Ray and Dom stuff. And
yeah,
it's fine, but I
don't think anybody was clamoring for more Ray and the Dom, though. That's what confused me about the whole thing.
I still think that the mask versus hair match should have happened by now.
Yeah.
I think if you were to go back to the Ray and Dom stuff, do the mask versus hair match, and they still could. But yeah, so we're getting a tag match. I do think we're getting a 6-man match with the Pride and Final Testament. We got the winners of both of the tag tournament matches. So New Catch Republic is moving on, and Theory and Waller are going to move in. They're going to be in the 5-pack ladder match. It's 5-pack, right? It's not 6. 5.
I think it's 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's 5-pack. So we got an announcement, but it just felt like this episode was chugging along. I think it's because we've been conditioned for so long now to get like, oh, we're gonna get a big Rock segment, we're gonna get a big Roman segment, and so the episodes when it's not there, because they haven't gotten us to invest in the rest of the stuff on the show as much, it's just kind of like, all right, this is kind of boring.
All right, like where's that stuff at? Where's Rock? Where's Roman? Like where's the stuff that we came for?
Yeah. But I have been saying for weeks that I think the second biggest storyline on SmackDown has been the damage control stuff. And so I think, even though I'm not the biggest fan of adding all these women to the damage control stuff, I think it's good that they're continuing to build that stuff as the biggest storyline, and they're adding all of these other women to it. And it definitely had that same kind of momentous feel to it that the Rock and the Roman segments have had. And having 3 black women in that segment and that being a big moment for this week's SmackDown, I thought it was really cool. I was curious where we were going. I mean, at this point, I figured we were getting the 6-woman match. I thought we were getting a trios match, but I was figuring, all right, how are we going to get there? I thought the main event with Dakota and Bianca was fine. I thought it was a solid match. We got the usual setup of, all right, I won the match, but the heels are going to come in and beat me down. Then somebody's going to come out and help. And then it's like, oh, no, who's going to help me? And the crowd started chanting for Bayley. And I was like, yeah, I don't think Bayley's coming, guys, because Bayley was just offset getting into the fight with with EO somewhere else. And so when Jade comes out, knew what time it was. Jade is back in the shattered glass. So you know what that means. It's time to get to the matches. And to her credit, when you give her these kind of spots where she just gets the big moves in on wrestlers, she always looks good. She always makes the pump kick look good. She did a really good power bomb at one point.
That pop-up power bomb was sick.
Yeah. So all of that looked great. It got me excited to see her wrestle again. And then we got the 3 of them standing in the ring together, Bianca, Jade, and Naomi.
I need a poster. I need a T-shirt. I need a hat. Anything that you could put that image on, let me get it.
Yeah, what a great visual to end the night on. And then we got the visual that came up after SmackDown was off the air of all 3 of them pointing at the sign.
Triple point.
So dope, man. Like somebody else said this in the super chat earlier that with all the frustrations with the booking, because I do think that they have done a disservice to the women's division and the booking of this year's WrestleMania. Like I think that they could have done more to build to a singles match with Bianca. They put that vignette up last night for Tiff, but what is Tiffany doing at WrestleMania? They have nothing booked for her. So it's just kind of like, hey, here's this placeholder vignette for her to let you know she's still around, but we don't have a match for her.
And the women's tag team titles are in this match, which means they're not being defended. It's pretty unfortunate.
They're not being defended again. Naomi goes away, becomes a world champion, and then comes back, and you kind of have the same issue you had with her at WrestleMania last time she was there, where, oh, we don't have anything for you. Oh, let's put you in a makeshift tag team.
Yeah.
All of those things are still true, all very valid criticisms, but that visual, man, my God.
Just like I said, it all went away when I saw the three of them standing next to each other. I was like, you know what? I don't care about nothing else. This is great. Just like we kind of expected these things to happen when Jade was coming in. I was like, yo, I think the $1 million idea is her, not against Bianca, but with Bianca, just because I think that they're going to be $1 million tag team. And then when Naomi was coming back, it was like, oh, that's an option. But seeing it all together is like, oh yeah, this is great. This is $1 million idea. This is awesome. I love this team. That match is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of, coming up with a reason for them to team up against Damage Control. I still don't really understand why Bianca is still linked to Damage Control after all this time. Especially, I felt even more like that after the main event, because I'm like, she has beat all of these women in a singles match, has she not?
Yeah.
And
she just beat Dakota. We just watched her beat Dakota right here.
Why are we still doing the Bianca versus Damage Control stuff? But again, the three of them in that ring, bro. Fire. And
could you imagine what these WrestleMania entrances are gonna look like, Phil? The three of them. We're out of here.
Yeah, I think that I think it's gonna be a cool moment for WrestleMania. I think it's a cool moment for representation. It was cool to think about all of this stuff coming into WrestleMania weekend and just how across the board Black women are just thriving. Like, you see what Willow's doing. She just wrestled in Arena Mexico. She's got the title match coming up at Dynasty. She's linked to Mercedes still. Mercedes is where she's at. She's got big contracts. She's been treated like a big star coming into AEW. And then you've got the Queen Aminata and Red Velvet match that we just got. She's got the match coming up at Supercard of Honor as well. It's just really dope to see all of these Black women in all of these different companies in a good spot. Do I think that it's a tad lazy that we've got to, all right, well, we don't have anything for all of them separately, so let's just put them all in a multi-woman match. Yeah, but the other part you got to think of is that's kind of an internet wrestling thing of us online going, oh, I wish they would have done something better for that. But there's going to be fans that are casuals that just come to these that have never seen anything like that. And they're going to be excited for that. That's going to be something that gets them to continue to watch. So, yeah, I do think some of the criticisms are valid, but still, this, you cannot discount what this means for representation.
It's just like I was talking about with the WNBA earlier. I think the women's college basketball being so prominent and getting over is just better for the future. That's exactly what this represents here. Last night when this match was announced and the graphic came out, there's a bunch of people that don't follow the weekly product that were like, this is awesome. This looks great. I want to see that match. And that's what it's going to be like. There's going to be young girls watching WrestleMania for the first time and seeing these 6 women together. And there's going to be a young Black girl seeing 3 Black women together. And it's going to inspire them to be something, inspire them in a different way that we can't even put into words. So this is awesome for that. It's token putting 3 Black women together. I'll fucking take it because they look great. What do you want?
Yeah, and I mean, this is, I think the thing we also got to look at is that it's not like they just, picked a bunch of Black women out of a hat and then put them together. These are 3 women that in different eras were big stars. And so to take somebody like Naomi that's been there since the Divas era and, she's been someone that has, been in this company for over 11 years at this point, has been around wrestling for this long, TNA world champion, and then you're teaming her up with Bianca, who has had the big WrestleMania moments, who's had the big feuds with all the other horsewomen, and then bringing them in with somebody that's kind of the future with Jade. I think that's cool, and both of them have talked about how much Naomi has inspired them. I think it's also dope that Naomi just has this presence among black wrestling fans and black wrestlers, where she inspires people, and it's just something about her that just brings people together. And so just bringing that to the screen and having a storyline of her being the one that brings the three of them together is really cool as well.
Makes sense.
Because she does deserve that moment. Do I wish she got her flowers more often? Yeah, but I do think it says a lot that, you know, she puts on for the culture as much as possible, and she makes people want to, you know, do moments like this. I mean, when they were in the locker room and she did the reference to Babs with the turnaround, I was like, yo, only Naomi would do that.
Right. Yeah, it's different. It feels good to her being like the veteran of the group and them just wanting to kind of make her proud essentially and continue on the things that she's created. Now they're all creating things together. There's the past, present, future type deal. Like this represents so much for the culture and represents so much for them three black women specifically. And I'm very excited about this match. And you know, it's just one WrestleMania. There'll be more. I'm sure that all three of them will be in the main event of the women's division at some point, like they deserve to be. So we're just going to take this great tag match until then.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is just for now.
Right.
I in no way feel like these three are going to continue to be an act together for the rest of 2024. Jade is gonna turn on them. Like it's only a matter of time. I just feel like there's no way she's not gonna eventually be healed, because that's just what she does best. Like,
Yep.
like even when she came out and she talked and she was doing the storm is coming, I'm better than the rest of these women. She's gonna turn on them. It's happening. But I think this is a good way to get her on to WrestleMania. Seeing how excited she is about being a part of her first WrestleMania, I think that that's cool as well. And that kind of stuff again washes away my thoughts of, oh well, they could have did this or they could have did that. I wanted to see this. Yeah, it would have been great if we got what we wanted, but for those three women and making a moment, I think that that's cool. I don't like that. Some people are saying, well, this is good for the streak. And I'm like, yeah, but the fact that you already know that they're going to win this match, that doesn't really add to your point. Because I feel like there's no way, looking at what we have going into the match, the three of them together, this is Jade's first WrestleMania match. There's no way they're losing to Damage Control.
No way. They better not. That wouldn't even make sense. Like Jade's first WrestleMania, how they're all going to stand, Bianca's streak, everything that kind of represents this, it wouldn't make sense for them at all to lose this match.
No. But I think it's going to be a cool little showcase match. Unfortunately, you have built up Damage Control in this story and as this biggest foil against the rest of the women, but they're definitely going to take a loss, and they're not going to. I don't even think it's going to be like a particularly long match. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be a quick and to the point, them just beating them, which I hate to see Asuka and Kyrie in this spot, but
it's more about the entrances, like I told you. That's what they're going to get.
It's about the moment.
Yeah.
It's about the moment more than anything. And I think just seeing the three of them compete together is going to be a moment.
Exactly. Yeah, dope moment. I'm excited to see more about Jade. I'm excited to see what she does next week. But on the back end of this is what I'm really excited about. Like, how are they going to book her? Are they going to take her off TV for another 7 months after this? We're going to see. We're going to know.
No, I feel like you're going and you're in front of an international crowd, bro. You should try to book some kind of singles match out of this for Backlash. You're gonna be in Paris. This is a chance to put Jade in front of a different audience. Nah,
gotta try it.
You got to do something, unless you're gonna do like a tag titles match at Backlash, which
not interested.
I don't know, but yeah, what a cool moment. Really cool seeing, fans and wrestlers excited about this on Twitter right afterwards and the next day. I thought that was one of the coolest things about it. Like, even if you're like one of those that's negative on this and you're down on it, because I wasn't super excited about the idea of this match, but man, just seeing how excited other people are and just seeing just like the energy around it, it's hard to not be excited about it. It's hard to not feel like the infectious energy around it.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. Like I was saying, a bunch of people that don't usually watch SmackDown were excited about just seeing that everybody was sharing the pictures and everything about it. It just feels like good energy. Felt like a good team to put together. Good energy going into WrestleMania, even though the build wasn't absolutely the best. But we're still gonna get some. It's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 40. We'll get cool visuals, cool moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think most people, like, regardless of what this match does or any of the stuff before it, um, the wrestling fans, especially black wrestling fans, they're gonna remember where they were when these three teamed up together for their first WrestleMania together.
Right. They don't care about nothing pre or post. They're gonna care about what happens at the show, and that's gonna be
Yeah.
enough for them. And that's dope. I'm happy for that.
Yeah, trademark WrestleMania moment.
Right. All right, we got a few super chats before we fly on out of here. Tyrone Kidd says, RIP to Asuka not winning a WrestleMania match still. Also, the non-Latino still had me dead.
Yeah, I wish they would book Asuka better, but what are you gonna do?
I feel like this is it. Like she's never gonna get a singles match from here on out where she wins, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at least we should be lucky that she's not injured, because that was very scary a few weeks ago. At least she's still good and the match is still happening.
And at one point last night, when Naomi ran out, she grabbed Asuka and she punched Asuka like 53 times in the head. It's really funny if you just pay attention to that.
I think their interactions were also very funny because you could tell Asuka was trying to be careful about touching her hair at certain points. Very funny.
Asuka is hilarious. And then Will Chisholm says, to be fair, SmackDown was built from the women with that Bailey and EO segment and the damage control tease of Jade. Yeah, it was kind of like a women's specific episode, so centered.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff before the main event segment weren't really great, but
right.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all of our super chats. Thank you everybody for submitting super chats, chats, being here. Y'all are dope.
Got one more humper chat from Ronan Mike. He says, "Do you think The Rock's return has affected LA Knight's popularity? I know a lot of people compared him to The Rock and Austin, but it's kind of hard to stand out when you have the genuine article on the same show and he's also killing it. I don't think it's hurt LA Knight at all. I think LA Knight still looks great. I think his promos are still getting over with the live crowd. I think they had a really good segment this week with him running. Well, sorry, that was last week when he ran in on AJ Styles' house. AJ, big buff AJ sitting in his basement. And then it felt like an episode of Cops for some reason.
It did. The way that they were filming it and everything. It
looked crazy. But I thought this segment was good. I don't know what this match is going to do, but it's AJ Styles. Like, I think at best, AJ is going to have a good match with him.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, if anything, if you want to have the attempt or what's going to look like a great match on paper, AJ Styles is the one you want to stand across. I don't think that this is hurt LA Knight necessarily. Like, he got a WrestleMania match with AJ. Like, he's still in a really good position. I think it's just kind of like the Cody thing of like, there's just more people over, and it might seem like it takes away from LA Knight, but it's not really.
Yeah, I agree. I think if anything hurt LA Knight is not putting him in the title picture. Yeah, he had the 2 world title matches, but I thought by now he would be at least US champion.
Something.
And I thought the match coming into WrestleMania weekend was gonna be LA Knight versus Logan Paul. But it's not, so I don't know. I mean, it's not like going off and having a match with AJ Styles isn't a good substitute. Exactly. I have to assume LA Knight is going to go over in that match.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Yeah. I think that is all of our humper chats. I'm just going to double check. That is all of our humper chats.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys as always.
Y'all are
always fun coming in here on Saturdays and talking wrestling and everything else. Whoever decided to call us a culture podcast and not just a wrestling podcast, that does still seem pretty apt, because I feel like we talk about way more than just wrestling, to some people's displeasure.
Yes. But that's just the way it is. You knew off rip what the kind of content we were going to give up, and this is my outlet to do this. So there'll never be a change to that. Like, I want to come and talk hip hop and basketball and wrestling and TV and all that, just because that's what it is. And so As always, appreciate everybody for supporting. Appreciate everybody that's new. If you never seen Grapsody or heard Grapsody, thanks for joining us, man. Y'all are cool.
Yeah, appreciate you guys as always. Fun heading into WrestleMania weekend. We will have something during WrestleMania weekend. We'll be somewhere. We'll be places.
Phil and I are about to be together for a while, so we'll film something or do something. Something will happen.
We'll have something for you during WrestleMania weekend.
Facts.
Hopefully, you guys have a good weekend. Appreciate you guys as always. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey, Righteous Reg. We are out.